See, operate in the higher self and knowing his lower self so that he can keep it in check at all times and use the lower self to power the higher self, to flip it, as you would. You see. And if you do that, then you won't be like this tulip, gaudy in appearance, but it has no scent. There's no, it looks good, you see. But what really makes a flower wonderful is the aromas they give off. I'm trying to think of this. Crepe myrtles. Yeah, crepe myrtle. Beautiful aroma. You see, beautiful aroma. I mean, it immediately makes, when you smell it, it just makes you go, oh, wow, it smells great. And just love those aromas, those scents, that the flowers give off, because it has an effect on us. It has a calming effect, as I think most people can attest to. Well, but anyway, that's just a brief review of our chapter for this cycle. Something to just meditate on, to allow it to marinate, as you will, this week. And we're gonna try to make it a point to read, maybe about 4 or 5 verses in the chapter every day, and then construct, if you will, your thoughts about these chapters, how it relates to you, how it relates to other chapters in Circle 7 Quran. That's going to be my goal to do, this week, to read at least 5 to 6 verses every day. And I mean, it's only 17 verses. So if I do that, by Wednesday, I would have completed the chapter and written down some thoughts on it. Let's make that our goal, every week, if you will. Look at the chapters that we have, and then, the chapters that we're going to read, the verses, and divide it up so that in a 3-day period, you've covered the whole chapter, written down some thoughts about it. You can develop those thoughts. And when Friday Holy Day comes, man, you can give some powerful, powerful demonstrations. And we need your demonstration. We need your measures, as it were, on the chapters, because here, iron sharpens iron. So when we all come with our measures, we're sharpening one another. Okay. All right. So with that, we see a Grand Sheik. He's in the chat. Grand Sheik, if you're ready, I open the floor up to you.
Islam. 1 second. I was about to go live, but they're going to have to catch it. And I hope that everybody share this. Let me first do this. Can you hear me? Hey, Islam, Grand Sheik, can you hear me?
Islam, coming through loud and clear.
All right. So family, let me tell you right now, I am on channel 7. Let me first, I'm doing a lot. So again, I'm on channel 7. So let me pull this down real quick. I'm getting this together. Give me 1 second, family. There you go. So I'm on MWTV channel 7. And if you are in the virtual component of our Born Science Temple of America, I ask that you come over here. The link is in our chat. A lot of this for us will be review, but for the public, it will be new information. And even for some of us, I've always, as I teach, I always add a twist. Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us to use that hammer. And so the hammer of truth, we just gonna bang it home to make it a truth, to make it a part of every part. So as you see me look over here, talk about this camera here. As you see me look over here, that's because we are the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I explained that today. You're going to have at least 2 hours. If you got to leave, then just come back. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. This channel is the truth serum of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We are known as the Noble Temples because we subscribe to doing the things exactly how Noble Drew Ali did it. That's it. We can't have it no other way. That's the only successful way. That is the only I guess structure, if you will, principles and everything within that has been successful. So we don't make no apology. We don't try to browbeat somebody and say, "Oh yeah, then won't you come with us?" Nope. We're gonna teach this truth. And we're going to teach it unfiltered and uncut. So what y'all heard in the background, that was our Sheik and divine minister, Brother S. McCallabay out of Texas, but he lives Louisiana now. And he governs with his assistant Q Robinson L, our virtual component. That way, if you are in a part of the country where there is no temple, you have the ability to join the Moorish Science Temple of America and charge yourself up, build yourself up, and put that Moorish Science Temple of America that you know that the prophet represented in your local area. But again, we all need elders. We all need research. We all need proof. We all need facts. We don't need lies no more. This is the age of the Aquarius. It's the age of the Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? All will be revealed. It is what it is. And so today, family, we're going to be addressing a video that was put out by Supreme Grand Sheik Brasswell Bay. Now, and I will tell you that I feel as though his video was put out in response to the video that me and the brother Rami Salam El did on the show, and a host of videos that I've done in the past on the topic. Rami Salam El, if you're not familiar with him, he has I Am Hip Hop Temple YouTube page, and it's IAMHH Temple YouTube page, and you should go there and subscribe. He's on his personal journey to get to the bottom of this. I feel as though that I've gotten to the bottom of it, and now I'm ready to move forward and build from the prophet's example, you know. With that being said, as a customer in the Moorish Science Temple of America, first and foremost, I rise, and we're talking about raise our thoughts. We don't want no distractions of lower vibrations. You know what I'm saying? This is not Moorish World TV as the drama and drawing people in with the side shows and the antics. This is just pure knowledge. I need somebody to mute their mic, whoever mic is not muted. This is just pure knowledge. So I rise. We're talking about raise our thoughts. I raise my thoughts just so, you know, we don't get into that low bottom feeding vibration. We just want facts. You know what I'm saying? And I give praise to the universal creator, Allah. I give praise to the universal energy. I give praise to the universal force, you know, that allow us to breathe and heart pump without batteries and instruments made by man. I give praise to Allah for that, and I give honor to his prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the universal prophet. And everything that I say here today and that I've said in the past and that I will say in the future will be universal. In other words, anybody around the world will be able to apply this. But this information is for those who are descendants of the occupation of our indigenous land, those who are the descendants of the slaveholders, those who that are descendants of the marks that we carry and continue to carry as a people, Negro, Black, and colors. This is what this is all about, you know. But anybody can use this philosophy. You know what I mean? We all should learn to love instead of hate. And one of the greatest things when you talk about love is the love of self. And the love of self is desiring and wanting the truth. You know what I'm saying? Uncut, no excuses. Just give me the truth so I can do what I got to do. Give me the chance. Give me the ability to make a pick. Do I want to do the truth or do I just want to go with the flow? Give me and that's what this is. You are able to make a choice with the truth. You can't make a choice with the lie because the lie is manipulative. So you can't really choose. But with the truth, you can choose. You can follow the truth or you can carry on the lie. That's if you qualify it to be true. So let me, without no further ado, I rise and give praise to Allah, and I give honor to his prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to all the staff and members of the Moorish Science Temple of America under our administration. And I say our administration because there are multiple administrations out there calling themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I don't have no problem with that. That would be like me getting mad if I was a Christian because there is a big Bethel AME on the west side and I'm a big Bethel on the east side. That was like me getting mad because it's a Mount Olive on the south side and another Mount Olive across the street. That doesn't bother me at all. You can call yourself what you want, but what do you represent and what do it model itself after? That's important. You call yourself what you want. You can have 100 Mount Olives all through our community, and we have seen them before. But what Moorish science, whether it's 100, whether it's 5, or whether it's 1, which one endeavors to model themselves after the original founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And that's why I do what I do. Now, let me say this. This is no attack on anybody. If people are watching this and they see this as an attack, listen, raise your vibration. This is not an attack. This is me disagreeing with those who put out information saying that, one, they are the legitimate heir of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's movement. 2, that they are functioning in the structure and format that the Prophet gave us. 3, I have to address the blatant lies. That's what this is about. This is not personal. This is not personal. And when the Prophet say we shouldn't speak radical against any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Well, when you are speaking from the place of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then radical takes on another connotation. We're not going to use that statement not to tell the truth. I'm not going to teach the Moors under my leadership to let anybody make them feel guilty for telling the truth, because it says we are not to speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That is not to make you a turn-the-cheek Christian. That is to say, when you present information, it better be right and exact. It better be right and exact. And if it's not right and exact, you make a speedy reparation to the utmost of your power. You say, my bad. I apologize. That information wasn't right. But we don't use that statement. We are not to speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group because we are to teach. They forget what that means, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Let's not forget truth. And if you classify truth as being radical, then you missed the lesson. You missed the lesson of what that statement means. So, family, I ask you to share this to at least 2 or 3 people. I would like to, as I get started here, let me share it on my Facebook. I'm going to share it on my Facebook and I'm going to get started. I wouldn't care if it's 3 people in here. I'm going to share it on my Facebook and I'm going to get started. So here we go.
The Supreme Grand Council meets quarterly. As opposed to what they think, oh, we only have a conclave once a year. And once a year is a fiscal year. And you have to count the year that we started. That's why some people get off track of what convention this is, because you're not on the main track anyway. The Supreme Grand Council is headed by the Supreme Grand Sheikh's Chairman. And that person's position is to regulate, direct, and supervise all activities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, in conjunction with the laws, rules, and regulations that our Prophet Noble has already laid down. The Black Gods of the Metropolis, this book written by Arthur Fawcett, in his preface on his book, he says it's amazing how the nationalistic movements of the different organizations have grown so far from an acorn known as Noble Drew Ali. He said the acorn has grown to Black Panthers, has grown to this, has grown to that. Now, Arthur Fawcett, I beg to differ with him on the particular level that they have not really grown to anything, but they were inspired by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but they didn't take the step in nationality in the program that the Prophet has put together for us, which is a foolproof program. However, the Nation of Islam uses freedom, justice, and equality in their principles, which the Prophet came with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So he just added equality to it. You have to realize that, again, we talked about this earlier, that many of these offshoot organizations were so heavily inspired by what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought for the liberation of our people against slavery, that they, instead of joining it and making it one piece, they wanted to do their own thing, which don't last. It will not last. That's how you know it's not of the divine essence. Remember the saving power again. The everlasting gospel is not offshoots, not even an offshoot, or something different other than what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought. It's Noble Drew Ali, it's his divine plan of the ages for it. So there's no comparison to these organizations to what the Prophet brought for the liberation of our people. When he came, he was stepping fast and moving quick right down to the modern time. It can't be duplicated. So you have to get on the good ship, you have to get on this train that Noble Drew Ali is driving. You have to get on that train. You can't be a sidewinder. You can't be a rock on the railroad tracks and say, well, I don't support the railroad tracks. That's not enough. You got to get on the railroad train called the Prophet's Divine Plan of the Ages, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish National Divine Movement. You have to get with that. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that the burden of the support of the Moorish Science Temple of America is too heavy. And we all need to bear the financial part. So let's put in the per capita tax, he says. But then, ladies, we're going to have the per capita tax / a representation tax, where everyone's going to be represented. If you pay your representation tax, per capita tax, you are represented in your religious society, in your religious government. That is why the Moorish Science Temple of America has a per capita tax, representation tax website where anybody can go and say that you are an official member of Moorish Science Temple of America, and not a member of something else that has nothing to do with Moorish Science Temple of America. And you are represented as a law-abiding legal citizen of the United States of America by our roll called the representation tax of Moorish Science Temple of America. So, again, for those who say, well, I'm going to join this group or that group, Act 4 of the additional laws of our Constitution says that we can't make any assertion or speak radical about any group of any organized group in American flag, anything of that sort. So we can't talk about these groups as much as we can talk about our group. So ask us what we're doing in the Moorish Science Temple of America, but you can ask them what they are doing. But we know what we are doing is heavily and divinely inspired by Allah Almighty Himself, to the point that we can't lose. We will never lose with the stuff we're using. We can't lose in terms of liberating our people mentally, physically, spiritually, of this grip of the downfalls of the Negro, black, and colored. That must be erased. We must wash, symbolic cleansing of the soul. And it takes time to wash away this Negro, black, and color. It takes time to wash away the psychological effects of even calling ourselves Negro, black, and color. It takes patience. Allah, our Lord, is patient with us, so we have to be patient with one another. Because it never changes. We are still the children of one Father, provided for by His care. And affection will bind us together in such a way that we'll remember each other. Even when we're separated in the world, let's see how it's more doing, let's see how it's more doing. We have to find more ways to love instead of hate each other. And this myth of who's in charge have to dissipate. We're in charge, I'm in charge. Well, if you're so in charge, what about all the millions of our people who never heard of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? What about the millions of our people who deserve the right to have their nationality and be aware of that? So I say to Moorish America, and I say it with a sincere heart, the Prophet has already said who's in charge. If you spend all of your life talking about who's in charge, who's your grandfather, who's not, who will be saved? Who will we really help? Let's not forget our position in Moorish Science Temple of America. It's a say who's in charge, who can be better than that one. We get it, that Moorish Science is overwhelming, that there's so much that we still need to pick up a crumb here, a crumb there, or what about that crumb over there, or could mean this, or could mean that. The one is are endless. Moorish Science Temple of America is governed by the central authority that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali put in place. And without activity in the central authority, those out there who are doing all else, we will never ever win. Never. We have the central authority and we've been maintaining and will continue to maintain. I'm not the last Supreme Branch Chief Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Neither was the ones preceding before me. In 2080, there will be another Supreme Branch Chief Chairman. But after that would be many more up to that. If you don't record that, fall down, oh, it's the line is broken. What does that make you? That mean you're supposed to take over? That means, it's no more, it's all broken up, so that means that you're supposed to slide
we live,
in?
family. Come hit the link and come on the channel.
No, there's no sliding in.
I'm about to hit these slides. We about to
There's a continuance.
bust this truth up real quick.
There's a continuance of the legacy that the Prophet has already left.
So I'm live on Facebook, family. If you are on Facebook, I won't be on Facebook long. I'm about to start this presentation. What we're going to be addressing is the Brasswell base statement that he is the central authority, that there has never been a broken line in the Prophet's movement. I totally disagree. In fact, I'm going to go so hard and I'm going to venture to say that he was a part of the hookup and the cook-up. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of the hookup and the cook-up. Oh, my apology. Hold up.
I think he muted.
I was going to say, yeah, he's going to be a part of the hook up and a cook up. And in this presentation, it'll be about an hour and a half, family. So you have to come and hit the link and come over here. I'm going to leave this running over here on my Facebook page. But in fact, what I'm about to do is I'm going to be focusing over here because I got some slides that I got to get busy with. If anybody haven't seen it, I will put the link in here. If somebody is able to put the link to Brasswell Bay video that comes from a Mexum, I would advise you to put it up in there. You know what I'm saying? Put it up in there so that people can see exactly what I'm responding to. Because one thing about me, my intention is to get to the truth, as the Prophet Obadiah Ali speaks about the divine truth. And so we're going to get started with the divine truth. Now, first of all, let's be clear. There is only one appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America that was appointed by the Prophet Obadiah Ali, and that is no other than Edward Miliel, known as E. Miliel. Now, I'm going to be talking a little bit, and indulge me if you can. Because I really want you to get this point. If I talk too much, then you're just going to have to learn some patience and work with me, because I'm working on that too. But I really need to feel comfortable in my heart of hearts that you are actually getting this truth that is going to set you free from these illusions that these people have hooked up and cooked up for us. You know what I'm saying? So let me pull my screen up so I can see what I'm doing. I don't want that. Nope, I don't want that. So, bam, I'm working. Bam. Here we go. So here we go. Let me stop sharing here. So family, if you are on Facebook, I'm telling you, you won't be able to see these slides on Facebook. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to come to, you're going to have to come. You're going to have to come to, well, I won't do that. Hold up. Cancel. Let me see. Let me get that out the way now. I'm going to get all this out the way. And now, I'm going to do this. Oh, I see. So I'm going to do this. Yeah, you're going to have to come over here to get these facts right quick. Here we go. We back at it. So here we go. You're going to have to come to the link. I put the link in the top. So family, I got to get started. I got work to do. People might have work to go to today or go to church or something. I don't know. So I got to get busy. So right here, Edward Miliel is the only appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, with that, Edward Miliel makes a statement. I want to try to bring this forth right here. Can I bring this over here by the screen? Yeah, there we go. So Edward Miliel makes a statement, family, and I'm going to read this statement to you. This is from, man, why this thing is doing this? Don't do that. So in this statement, let me read it to you. So in this statement, Edward Miliel says, well, the time is proving all true according to the divine plans. He's speaking of Prophet Obadiah Ali. He said, children, there won't be but a few saved. Because, family, I got to get this out my way. So come on over to YouTube. There won't be but a few saved because you are not going to do what I tell you. This is very important. He says, you're not going to do what I tell you. He already know that the people with him is not going to listen to him. He already said that, according to E. Miliel. Because you're not going to do what I tell you. Your way you want, your way you are going to have. They were trying to overthrow the Prophet Obadiah Ali while the Prophet Obadiah Ali was in the flesh. And so Prophet Obadiah Ali says, your way you want, your way you'll have. And for the last 80 years, those who call themselves Moorish Americans have had their way with appearing to be overthrowing the prophet. But now the time is up. Your way you want, your way you have. Only a few will be saved. Time is up. And we're going to show how it's up. The time is up. Emilio goes on to say, so you better do like I tell you. For if you do like I tell you, there is a chance for you. Remember, Prophet Noble Drew Ali says, preserve these holy and divine laws. If you do like I tell you, there will be a chance for you. There's a chance for you. If not, there is nothing for you but death. Then Emilio makes a statement. He says, he was talking about those who wanted to overthrow Prophet Noble Drew Ali's system after they felt that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was gone. He said they govern themselves by the majority. Now remember, it was a brother that was in the chat and said, oh, he was voted in. Those positions are not voted positions. Leadership positions are not voted positions. They are appointed positions. So, Emilio say, they govern them actions by the majority, which is all right if the majority is right. On the other hand, if only the one is right, that one becomes the majority. That's Emilio words. Listen to the wisdom. On the other hand, if one is right, that one becomes the majority. And then in bold letters, he says, that's Islam. But they want to run the Moorish Science Temple of America according to the principles of Christianity and politics. And we know when you mix Christianity and politics, what you get. We see it all the time. Now, we can prove that Emilio was appointed by the prophet very easily. This is the filing of Emilio from Prophet Noble Drew Ali within the county of Cook. And it shows who the prophet wanted in leadership after himself. As you can see, you see Noble Drew Ali. Second, you see Emilio. All of this Kirkman-based stuff is a facade and a fraud. It is what it is. We're going to tell the truth today. Okay? Now, if something was to happen to Emilio, Small Bay would have jumped in. If something would have happened to Small Bay, Lovett Bay would have stepped in. If something would have happened to Lovett Bay, Foreman Bay would have stepped in. Now, with that being said, while Emilio was in the flesh defending the prophet's movement, Foreman Bay chose to move with Kirkman Bay. Lovett Bay chose to move with Kirkman Bay. Small Bay chose to take a statement and said that the prophet was complicit to the Claude Green situation. So the only one was left was Emilio, whom the prophet appointed. That was the only one left. Everybody else fell off and jumped off and ran with Kirkman Bay with the overthrow. They were trying to overthrow the prophet when he was in the flesh. This is why the prophet made this statement. There's Moors on the high road, Cavi Emptor. That wasn't just some statement. That thing was happening in the time of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And it carried on after Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So what I'm establishing right now is that Emilio is the rightful head. But then I'm going to get to all the way down to Brasswell Bay's statement. He is the rightful head. I'm not going to really focus on Kirkman Bay too much today, because that's a whole nother presentation. But what I will do, I will say this. Emilio is the head, and this is where we start. So now let's go on this journey. Oh. What happened? Now let's go on this journey. Here we go. Where I put it at? Hold on. Lost my space. Oh, here we go. Just trying to make sure I don't lose any of this information that I'm trying to get to you. So now, let's do it. Hold up, family. I got to get this out my way. This is distracting me. All right, there it is. All right. Make sure everybody can see. All right, here we go. So we already can establish that Prophet Noble Drew Ali's system is clear. To appoint, anoint, and consecrate. So we can really X out. That's a whole nother demonstration, but we can really X out what's going on with the Kirkman Bay situation because the process is not met. I don't care if they still here today or not. The process is just not met. So with that being said, let me here we go. With that being said, to appoint, anoint, and consecrate. The process just wasn't met. So you just can't throw people in office and claim them to be a leader of anything and start calling yourself something. It don't work like that. I mean, you can, but it has no saving power at that point. So again, this right here is an article that was written during the time of the prophet in one of the Chicago papers. And the reason why the prophet will publish things in the paper, because when you publish things in the paper, it becomes law per se. In other words, you have to stand by it. So if one would go to get married and you have to publish that you married, if you change your name, you have to publish that because you have to stand by it and you have to have somebody, give somebody a chance to challenge it. You follow me? So this was published in a newspaper, and it wasn't published in a newspaper associated with the Moorish Science Temple of America. I forget the name of the newspaper, but it'll come to me. Where everybody be reading, they don't even know the source of what they're talking about when they start talking. But this was one of the papers, and it says it is reported that the Prophet Supreme Executive Authority will appoint a Supreme Grand Council, of which he will be the Supreme Grand Chairman. The Supreme Grand Council will be in power and the duty to control and supervise. Now, it's a statement that Brasswell Bay made that I'm going to bring up in a minute. He says that the Supreme Grand Sheikh is in position to control and supervise. Thank you, fear of the Lord. That's right. It was a Chicago Defender. If anybody watched it, only a 16-minute video. It was only a 16-minute video, but the Prophet Noble Drew Ali says the Supreme Grand Council will have the power and duty to control and supervise all affairs. But he stated that the Supreme Grand Sheikh has the power to control and supervise. That's a switch and bait of the words. The switch and bait of the words. No, there is no one dictatorship in the Moorish Science Temple of America. It don't work like that. Nevertheless, let's keep it moving. Now, for the Kirkman Bay people, in order for Emilio to be removed, it can only be done by the process which was put in place by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It can only be done. You cannot say that Emilio was not the leader if you didn't meet the process. And I'm going to move towards showing you that Kirkman Bay never meets the process. I will add this. This is my commentary. Let me add this. This is my commentary. I want to blow it up for you so you can see it, if you will, because this is very significant to some of the conversation. Just because, let me say, just because you steal a car, Oh, I couldn't even move it. What's going on here? Let me throw it back real quick. Just because you steal a car and you find a way to put it in your name, that doesn't make it your car. You follow me? We're going to talk about where's the counsel in a minute. Just because you steal a car and find a way to put it in your name doesn't make it your car. And I say, in fact, you even put the car in your wrong name. We'll get with that later. Now, let's go right here. This is where the hookup begins. Y'all follow me? The hookup begins. Let me go to my camera real quick. Let me stop this for 1 second before, let me tell you what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? So the hookup begins in 1993. I mean, the hookup begins in 1993. Now, let me give you the outline of 1993. Before 1993, if you will, Brasswell Bay, let me stop the screen share. Before 1993, Brasswell Bay was a part of a group of Moors affectionately called 957th Street Moors, right? And being a part of that group, the group, and that's a whole nother presentation that I can do, was ultimately dissolving. So Brasswell Bay, along with P. Davis L. and a brother named Rassadi L., started running to try to find an alternative to what they were doing. And one of the reasons that 957th Street was dissolving is because the Moorish Science Temple of America, incorporated under the leadership of R. Love L., was sending out things, shutting it down. He was shutting it down. But he shut down legally 957th Street. And so those that was a member, those that was members of 957th Street, they came together from leaving the Kirkman Bay group. They came together from leaving the Kirkman Bay group, right? But now Kirkman Bay group, under the leadership of Love L., he going hard. He's like, y'all going to stop this. He's taking people to court, and ultimately 957th Street dissolved. Again, that's a whole nother story. So Brasswell Bay was working at, and don't quote me on this part, but I think he told me that he was working at a college and he had seen a sister with a turban on or a button, something of that matter. I got the video, and he didn't recognize her. At that time, there were only two main branches of the Moorish Science Temple of America outside the reincarnated group. There was the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, and there was the Resurrection and Reincarnated group, you know what I'm saying? But in Chicago, everybody only knew about the incorporated group under, what we say affectionately incorporated. The Prophet movement was incorporated. You feel what I'm saying? But that's another story too. But anyway, many people just knew about the incorporated group, and I call it that affectionately relating to Kirkman Bay. Now, when Brasswell Bay sees this sister working, I think it was at the cafeteria because he was a food inspector. He sees this sister and see her with this button or turban on, whatever the case may be. He's like, who are you? Remember, nobody knows any other groups of Moors at this time. Who are you? She says that I am a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. One of those words. He said, where? Because the only thing that people knew at that time was the group that survived. And that group was one who had taken over the Moorish Science Temple of America after Emilio passed. You see what I'm saying? And that was the Kirkman Bay group. They survived. They even survived until this day. You see? And so, but when he seen this woman, he's like, where this woman? Who? Why? You know, nobody knows you. And the Moors was so small at that time that you identified everybody. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, bringing it on home, she had mentioned that she was having meetings at a house and the leader or the chairman was barely ill, David barely ill. And he asked, would he be able to come to a meeting? Now, remember that 957th Street was dissolving. So can I come to a meeting? Once he went to a meeting and I got the videos, he says that when he went to this meeting, in fact, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. If I can. Okay, yeah, I'm going to pull it up for you. Says, fam, we're going to be here. We're going to be here, fam. You might have to come back. This is history, family. This is real scholarship history as it relates to the teachers of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Let me see if I can pull it up like this, because for some reason I don't have it saved right. But if you can't hear it, I would do it again. Let me see if you can't hear it. Tell me if you can't hear it. I'm gonna turn it up as loud as I can because I don't have it saved with the right thing to put it in the system, but I do have it. I just need to shrink it a little bit.
Great teachers with Sister Christina
Okay,
Brasswell.
stop. Let me stop real quick. We turn it up real quick. Okay, here we go. And I'm gonna try to screen share it so you can see it. And again, this is not an attack. This is just history, scholarship of Moorish Science Temple of America.
Some of our great teachers was Sister Christina Price Bay, who many people call Queen Mother. Brother Sloan Hill, who was the organizer of the Moorish Industrial Club, and a brilliant man named David Bellier.
Now listen. So he says, in a brilliant man named David Bellier. You follow me? Now, when he goes to this meeting, oh, you can't hear? I can redo it. Let me know if you heard it. Press 1 if you heard it, because it's a delay on your end. Let me know if you heard it. If not, I'm gonna save it properly so you can hear it. But only thing he says in that is, oh, he said, I can hear it. Okay, good. The only thing he says in that is a brilliant man named David Bellier. Now, I have hours of footage. I have hours of footage where he confirms that basically he knew nothing about how the Moorish Science Temple of America actually operates until he runs into that lady and goes to Belial's house. And at that time, Belial is having a meeting in his house. The unique thing about David Belial is this. Is David Belial, he allowed Brasswell Bay to go into the boxes that was left to him by his family, who was members of Temple Number 1, most importantly, Delia Miliel, D. Miliel, who was Emiliel's wife. You hear me? And so when Brasswell Bay get to go through these boxes and start to see all this information that he has never seen before, this is what I feel. This is when the hookup begin to start. He brings over P. Davis L. Look what we found. So many of the articles that you see in the Moorish Science Temple of America about the Moorish Science Temple of America online, whether you talk about the Moorish Guide articles, whether you talk about letters from Emiliel, whether you talk about some of the things, man, especially when dealing with Emiliel, a lot of this came from David Belial, right? But here go the hookup. Pete Davisell and Brasswell Bay goes to David Belial and they hook up this scheme I stand on this. They hook up this scheme and they begin to say, we found temple number 1. Y'all hear me? We found temple number 1. When in fact, they found items of temple number 1 from one who was descendant of temple number 1. I will explain that in a minute. Belial. Now, this is where we get busy. You got to follow it because, I teach in a storyline form. You know what I'm saying? I teach in a form like the Medunetta. I teach with pictures. Listen.
The first Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America was, without doubt or contradiction, Brother E. Millie Eel. He was appointed the Supreme Grand Sheikh. He was appointed the Supreme Grand Sheikh. He was appointed the Supreme Grand Sheikh in the first sitting of the Supreme Grand Council, which took place.
Y'all hear that? He's confirming Email. Watch, keep listening.
He was appointed the Supreme Grand Sheikh in the first sitting of the Supreme Grand Council, which took place in October of 1928 here.
That's all you got to hear with that. What I'm saying with this is that this brother right here, that is P. Davis L. Okay. And P. Davis L was one who was a part of the hookup along with Brasswell Bay. He was a part of the hookup. It is what it is. And I'm going to show and prove in a minute. And remember, all of this is about the central authority. Let's not forget what this is all about. You feel me? Let's not forget what this is all about. Let me exit out some of these windows that I have real quick. Work with me. I'm going to exit out some of these windows. Give me 1 second. I'm exiting out a bunch of windows. Hold up 1 second. I got a bunch of windows open. And that's what confused me sometime. But nevertheless, we back in the building. All right. I'm trying to get this screen share on. Give me 1 second. All right. Share. Oh man, you ain't sharing. What's going on? Man, this thing is. Come on, Brasswell Bay, get out my computer. Oh man, come on, man. I got too much information to play this. String, what did it say? Google not responding? Crazy, man. So my back. Can y'all see me? I think I'm back. All right. Man, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on, but that's all right. I think I'm back. All right, here we go. Oh, they're going to get this work. Don't worry about it. So, why is it? Man, this is crazy. Stand by. Trying to figure out why this is not showing up like it's supposed to. Let me see. Gotta watch over here. Okay, there it is. 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 All right. All right. All right. So I'm gonna just ride it out. All right. 1 second. Everybody can hear me? As long as everybody can hear me, we good. All right. So here we go. When we look at not Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Emilio, he talks about his enrollment and all that. I'm gonna skip past that for the sake of time, that we can establish that Emilio was appointed by the prophet. All right. But now let's get to the Supreme Grand Council part real quick for the sake of time. Let's get to the Supreme Grand Council part. Now, this here is supposed to be a letter where Emilio mentioned, bro, last night, or not Emilio, somebody writes this letter, but this is a copy if I'm not mistaken. It said, bro, Emilio said that now the supreme will of Noble Drew Ali will be over the temple. Once more, that they would act as officers of home office. What he's talking about is that right up here, this paragraph, bro, Emilio declared that they had filled the vacancies of the Supreme Council. Right? Now, I don't know who wrote that, but I do have the original letter somewhere. I didn't have a chance to get to it. However, in that letter, it talks about that they fulfilled the seats of the Supreme Grand Council, because once the takeover of the Moorish Science Temple of America was in full swing, a lot of people dropped off. Brasswell dropped off. The business manager, Claude Green, he was killed. And so Ern Payne took the business manager position, on and on and on. So Emilio said, look, we fulfilled the positions. Now, for the point of Kirkman Bey, if Kirkman Bey was in leadership in 1929, 1930, we should be seeing some documentation to that fact. There is no documentation to that fact, but we see Emilio is working the good work according to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So let's play this real quick.
1930, the minutes clearly show that one of the things that.
Hold up 1 second. Let me pull myself. I see. My bad, family. My bad. So basically, I got 1934 up there. If someone says Emilio was something in 34. My bad, family. My bad. So I got 1934 up there for the simple fact that he's going to mention the takeover of 1934.
1930. The minutes clearly show that one of the
Right.
1930, and of course, after the passing of Brother Emilio in 1934, then further erosion of the central authority of the organization began to place, and people, other groups within the movement, tended to pull away and begin to do their own thing. But it's important to understand that the Supreme.
All right, I'm gonna stop that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I can send y'all all these videos. That is P. Davis L right there. P. Davis L is just talking about how in 1930 that they were conducting business, and that's just to talk about the Kirkman Bay brothers and sisters. The brother that be on there, what's the brother name? The school of something, Mars, or whatever the case may be. But we're about to move past that right now. We're about to move right past that right now and get to the good part. Let me get this share on. I don't know why the screen share be tripping now. I have no clue why it's tripping. It's beyond me. Here it is. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't get it. Maybe is it in Chrome? Yeah, Chrome acting real funny right now. Windows. This is crazy. I ain't never seen this happen like this. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close everything out and I'm gonna try to bring it back up because I need to flow with this. I need this to flow. So basically, P. Davis L was basically just saying that, you know, they were conducting business. You feel what I'm saying? Let me close this out real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close this out and reload it. I'm gonna reload it because I don't know why it's acting like that, but I really need to flow with this. So family, anybody got any questions yet? Anybody? So it's gonna close out. This is crazy, man. I ain't never seen this before. Act like that. All right, it just closed out. Give me 1 second. Man, when I be teaching class, it be flowing. I ain't never seen this. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. It's okay. We're going to get right. Okay. So now let me go back up here and get this share. There we go. I'm going to start off fresh. So basically, if y'all wanted to hear it again, let me see if it'll play now.
1930, the minutes clearly show that one of the things that was at the top of the agenda of that convention was to make sure that any vacancies in the Supreme Grand Council were filled. And we have the minutes of that meeting, of that convention.
And so when he say we have in the minutes of that meeting, he got that from David Bailey Hill. You follow me? Act like that. Yeah, he got that from David Bailey Hill. Let it go.
Of 1930. And there were other grand sheiks within the movement at that time who recognized Brother Emilio as.
Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear? Press 1 if you can hear. We about to turn it up now.
Supreme Grand Sheik, and who recognized the authority of the Supreme Grand Council as late as 1931. And of course, after the passing of Brother Emilio in 1934, then further erosion of the central authority of the organization began to place.
Now, remember, we're talking about Brasswell Bay saying that he's the central authority and there is no break. Is I Am Hip Hop still in there? Because we're about to turn it up now. We're about to turn it up now. We're about to turn it up now. So now, here's where we talk about the break of the central authority. Now, Emilio, this is the letter right here. This is the letter right here. This is the minutes where Emilio, the chairman after a few brief remarks, stated that he had filled the vacancies of the Supreme Grand Council. Here's the proof. These are the minutes of that meeting, written by Baliel nephew, A. Brown Bay. You follow me? Press 1 if y'all can hear me, because we're about to turn up. Baliel nephew was the secretary on the council at that time. You follow me? And he's taking the minutes. This is what you're looking at. This is what you're looking at. So they are conducting business in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America after Prophet Noble Drew Ali. There is no Kirkman Bey conducting business. In fact, I'm gonna go real heavy with that, because I need to show you how this line works. Now, Emiliel was appointed, Kirkman Bey wasn't. Emiliel is conducting business, Kirkman Bey is not. So I don't care what you call yourself. We're going to go back to the root of the issue and the problem. But that's a presentation for another time. What we're talking about is the essential authority today. Now, what does secession mean? The word is one of the technical meanings in the law that signifies the taking the property, inheritance, or will of the estate of a descendant or operation. That we will get back in a minute. Now, here's Brasswell Bay. Take a listen.
The unity lectures we gave at Malcolm X College on May of 1993.
Y'all hear that? May of 1993. This is when they cooked it up and hooked it up. May of 1993. Listen.
And the unity lecture we gave at the University of Illinois, Circle Campus College, right here in Chicago in 1994, where we gave out information packets to the Supreme Grand Council.
I'm going to say again, somebody say Brasswell Bay is the original body, but he sees the movement for himself. No, he's not. You came in late, you have to come back and see. They had items from Temple Number 1. They had items from Temple Number 1, not Temple Number 1. And I'm going to show you it was, just pay attention.
And showed how it flowed, the information.
At this point in 1993, Brasswell Bay and P. Davis L., they really don't know what they got. They're freestyling. They got some information and they're trying to put it together. I got multiple of letters between Brasswell Bay, P. Davis L. They're arguing between, is the grand body and the Supreme Grand Council the same? And then Rasadiel, he breaks it down to them. No, it's not the same. In 93, they don't know what it is. But that's another story. They don't know what it is. They got plenty of communication between them. And I showed this in the Myth of the Supreme Grand Sheik. So they hooking it up, though.
And that is that we've gotten from the archives. Also at the last page of how
he's talking to P. Davis L. This is where the hookup is.
The succession of the Supreme Sheiks came all the way down the line, starting with Emiliel and ending with yourself.
Y'all see that? This was the hookup. That the secession, you remember this, that the secession came down the line from Emiliel and ended to yourself. But we're going to show how that's not true. And we're talking about central authority. But now there is an alternative to this lie, which is the truth. We're going to talk about the everlasting gospel. Everlasting is perpetual, has nothing to do with a human being. Now, last but not least, we see that Emiliel is sitting in the prophet's chair, and this picture is from 1928, as the prophet was pictured by the same film guy, D. Jones. You right? You hear me? Now, I'm not arguing about any philosophical anything. This is all facts. Now, I'm about to get into another part real quick, but what I will say is that in this picture here that I have right here, I have every name of people of great importance on this picture. There is no Kirkman Bey on this picture, and the names are here. So even when that European made that statement that this was Prophet Noble Drew Ali's wife, like this lady was Prophet Noble Drew Ali's wife, this was printed in the Moorish Guide, and we know this is Sister Lomax Bey. So we got the goods, you know what I'm saying, to tell the truth. Now, here we go. Here we go. We about to take you on a spin real quick. Here we go. Now, we know that Emeliel was the Supreme Grand Sheikh in 1929, don't we? Don't we know that? How we know? Because there's a convention going on, and Emeliel is the Supreme Grand Sheikh, not a Kirkman Bey. Not a Kirkman Bey. He is not the leader. Not only is he the Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, he's also the Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We see it clearly right here with this convention. Now, if one would say Kirkman Bey was in leadership of 1929, then he would have to show a convention, because the conclave is the official process of how to remove, replace, or establish leadership within the body called the Moorish Science Temple of America. Somebody say this is straight folly. I say prove my information wrong. Do you want the link when I'm finished? Prove my information wrong. Say what you want. Say what you want, but come and prove my information wrong. Now, with that being said, I've done extensive research on this topic because I want the truth. Now, with that being said, Emeliel is in charge, right? Not only is he in charge in 1929, there is no Kirkman Bey. The only time we see Kirkman Bey is right here. And we're going to give you this, but we're going to take it back in a minute. And this here, I have this somewhere, is where Kirkman Bey is known as the Supreme Grand Advisor. But we do have information, letters from Emeliel explaining that he honored Kirkman Bey as Supreme Grand Advisor. You hear me? As Supreme Grand Advisor for him doing with Prophet Noble, for doing for Prophet Noble Drew Ali the honor of a ritual at his burial in the previous months. And so he honored them with those credentials. But in a letter from Emeliel, he said that I'm showing it. He's on the program as the Supreme Grand Advisor. But who put him on the program? Emeliel. And as Emeliel say in one of his letters, that he didn't make him the Supreme Grand Advisor to take over the organization. He said he honored him with credentials. I have the letter. But now, if people want to talk about that Kirkman Bey is on the flyer, let's talk about this. Emeliel was the highest position on the flyer, the Supreme Grand Sheikh. Now, I will show the letter where Kirkman Bey was removed even from that honorary mention. But anyway, let's get back to this first. Emeliel was also known as the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is 1930. Now, people say everybody went with Kirkman Bey. Not so. Here are the temples that remain with Emeliel. Here it is right here. So that was a lie too. Everybody went with Kirkman Bey. No, they didn't. You got 2, 3. So maybe temple number 4 did. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 maybe did. 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, so maybe 5 temples went with Kirkman Bey. But these people were still with Emeliel. What y'all talking about? Not only was they with Emeliel, Cook Bey was with Emeliel in 1930. What y'all talking about? Did they begin to fade later? Of course. But who was recognized in charge? Not Kirkman Bey. because Emeliel was a charge, and according to the system. In other words, you don't have to like Emeliel, but the system determines who's in charge, not a group of people that's trying to overthrow the system. We can go all the way up to 30 and we still see Emeliel still in charge. Oh yeah, we keep the goods. We keep the goods. Anybody got the goods? You're going to see my point about Brasswell's statement in a minute. Now, here we go again. In 31, same thing. We got the goods. Here we go. 31, we got the goods. Prove me wrong. Emeliel is the chairman. Prove me wrong. Don't get mad. Just prove me wrong. And I'll change it and make a speedy reparation to the utmost of my power. In 1932, Emeliel's still the leader, not Kirkman Bey. Not Kirkman Bey. Show me the same thing for Kirkman Bey that I'm showing you for Emeliel. Can anybody do that? Press 1 if you can do that. Because this is a legal organization that is operating at this time. This is a legal organization that is operating at this time. This is not some willy-nilly. This is not some willy-nilly, you can call yourself this and you can call yourself that. No, this is operating. This is for the Kirkman Bey. And when you see this right here, Walton L., remember this name, Walton L., because this is going to go towards what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You can bring the letter on. Bring the letter on. We're gonna not let you distract. Keep on distracted. I'll let you come on at the end. Now, Emeliel was still the Supreme Grand Sheik in 1933. All right? We're not gonna let you distract. We need you to bring facts. No distractions, only facts. In 1933, here you go. Emeliel is still the Supreme Grand Sheik. There is no Kirkman Bey. So for the Kirkman Bey people like the Moorish American School of this, that, and the other, show me exactly what I showed you. Is I Am Hip Hop in here? Get them to show you what I just showed you with the timeline of Emeliel. Now, Emeliel actually passed in 1934. He got sick in 1933. You hear me? You hear me? In 1934, Emeliel passed. The next convention, pay attention, family. Are y'all with me? The next convention for the Emeliel side. Y'all paying attention? I want to make y'all show y'all paying attention. Press 1 if you're paying attention, if you're a Moorish American, if you're getting this history. This is what we teach in our temple. Why do we teach this? Because we want to know how to move. This is why you learn history in school. You can't deny history. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny history. Now, the next convention of Emeliel line was in 1936. But explain that. Explain that. How is it that Emeliel is on the flyer in 1936 when he passed away in 1934? Explain that. Well, the only research that we can show is that Emeliel's wife, Delia Emeliel, she stepped in and allowed or tried to restart with a convention. And just like you see Prophet Noble Drew Ali found on everything, She left Emilio name on it. But now, here we go. Let me stop for 1 second.
It's pretty good.
Remember what this is about. Have anybody forgot what this is about? That there was no break in the line. Do we remember that? That there was no break in the line of Supreme Grand Sheiks. Let's see if we can pull something up real quick. Let's see if we can put, somebody got to mute their mic or I'm kicking you out the thing. Somebody up in there. Hold up 1 second. Yeah. So there was, okay. This was a cheap shot by Brasswell Bay because of what I was talking about. Let's go.
Falling, oh, if the line is broken, what does that make you? That mean you're supposed to take over? That means, it's no more, it's all broken up, so that means that you're supposed to slide in?
See, look, filibustering. He said, oh, you say the line is broken, that means you're supposed to slide in. No, this is a holy and divine movement. And if you cooked up a lie, if the other side is lying, then we need to figure out what the alternative is so we can get back on track. If you lied and the other side lied, Terrell Johnson, I don't think you know the true history about Sister Delia Miliel, brother. Remember, I'm the researcher here. They lied on Sister Delia Miliel. They lied on her, brother. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful, Terrell Johnson. Be careful. You might be browbeating an angel. Be careful. Don't believe what people told you. Be careful, brother.
No, there's no sliding in. There's a continuance. There's a continuance.
So now,
the legacy that the prophet has already left.
So he says that there's a continuance, that there is no break. Didn't I just show you, press one, didn't I just show you that there was a break in convention from 1933? And the next one was 36. Is that a break or not? Press one if that's a break or not. Is that a break? Press one. Who with me? Who with me? We're not going to let y'all get away with these lies no more. Press one. Is that a break or not? We're not going to filibuster this thing. That's one break. I'm going to write these breaks down now. This is what I'm going to do. That's one break. That's one break. All right? So we caught Brasswell Bay in a lie right there. He said there is no break. That's a lie. That's a lie. Now, that's one lie. Let's stop it. All right, hold up. We're gonna do one more before we move on. Now, here we go.
You have to have a continuance of that office. So we know that that office has.
Stand by, KB 420. We're gonna talk about that in the end. Stand by. He said, who is the rightful successor to this day and age? Stand by, KB 420. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Here you go. Listen.
Always been filled and has been referred to as Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman or just Chairman.
Listen.
You have to have a continuance of that office. So we know that that office has always been filled and has been referred to as Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman or just Chairman of the Supreme Grand Council. They're intertwined. You have to have a.
Hear that? I wanted to play that twice so you can really hear. He said you have to have it, and it was called a Supreme Grand Sheik or Chairman. It's all the same. He's lying again. He's lying again. He's lying again. He's lying again. See, I know you don't like the truth, but we're going to tell it. Listen. So, Let's go on down. First of all, he said there's a continuance. And according to, let me go back real quick. According to Belial as well as Brasswell Bay, according to them, this is the continuance. Y'all with me? This is the continuance. All right? This is a filed document affidavit that they filed to claim the continuance. You feel me? See, people don't want you to talk about this. That's why, Messiah, I'm going to go ahead and get you up out of here. You being a distraction. I got to get you out of here. Give me a second. Let me get the Messiah up out of here. He's just being a distraction. He don't want to learn nothing. He in love with a man, so we're going to get him up out of here. He's in love with an individual as opposed to the original structure of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So we're going to get you up out of here. You ain't bringing no facts. You ain't bringing no receipts. All you doing is talking. So I'm going to get you up out of here. Now, man, I'm going to get you up out of here. Now, let me explain something to you. Here we go. When you look at this, it says, Brother Emiliel from 1928 to 1934. Brother Morris L. from 1934 to 1935. Right? I want y'all to remember that. All right? The reason why they hooked up Morris L. because in Bailey L. bag, they found out that Morris L. was the assistant of Emiliel. They don't have any proof that he actually assumed the position or leadership role after Emiliel. They put him there in that lineup because Morris L., the assistant Grand Sheik of Temple Number 1. So they automatically assume that he took that position. But upon further research, you will find that Emiliel did not pass the torch to Morris L., nor did he step in position when Emiliel passed form, because what happened was, these are the minutes from Kirkman Bay. He joined, opening remarks by C. Kirkman Bay, Supreme Grand Advisor, Brother W. Morris L., GS Temple Number 1. He joined Kirkman Bay. So he was no longer with the Emiliel portion. That's number 2 of the break. And why do we say that's number 2 of the break? Because there is no minutes of a conclave or a convention to verify Morris L. Do y'all with me? Press 1 if y'all with me. There is no minutes. There is no nothing. There is no minutes. There is no nothing to confirm Emiliel. There is no minutes, no nothing. Nothing. What I'm telling you is that this legal filing was a hookup. They got a seal on it and everything. Was a hookup perpetrated by no other than Brasswell Bay and P. Davis L. And unfortunately, David Bailey L. went along with it. Now, here's the hookup. Y'all ready? Or this too much? Now, the next one was Walton Bay. Now, remember when I told you before, remember Walton, if I can find it. Remember, let me blow this up right here. They even put the wrong name on there. They filed a paper named Walton Bay when the brother's name was Walton L. There is no record of a Walton Bay. And if somebody have a record of a Walton Bay, bring it forth. That's exactly what I'm saying, Morris Jedi, but there's an alternative, brother. You see this? They even filed a document right here that says Walton Bay in Cook County. You see it? But there is no place where we can find a Walton Bay. They even messed that up. It's an alternative, family. Don't be fret. We got something for you. You see? So they filed it and put Walton Bay, and I just showed you right here that it's Walton L. The reason why we can't have nice things is because nobody want to do it things the right way. We want to take the shortcut and follow a lie. And then when we find out we follow a lie, we don't want to make adjustments. But here again, so we got the break number 2. Now here's break number 3. There is no convention and there is no minutes to confirm that a Walton Bay was established as the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America from the legal document which they put in. Y'all hear me? There is nothing there. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. If anybody have it, bring it forth. If anybody have it, bring it forth. In order to install a leader in this organization, it must be done like the prophet did it. It must be done like the prophet did it. No convention, no minutes, no nothing. Just a name, E. Walton Bay. And in fact, the only way that I can find a Walton Bay is well, I just say a J. Walton Bay. I can't find no E. Walton Bay. You follow me? Now, that's break number 3. That's break number 3. Unless Brasswell Bay have these minutes, that's break number 3. Now, let me tell you something. The reason why I move like I move, because we've been teaching this truth. In honor to I Am Hip Hop for seeking this truth. See, we got more than what I put out. But just for those who don't think we do, let me show you something in 2018. Brasswell Bay comes to Baltimore. He comes to Baltimore and he claims to be doing this tour to give the history of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But little do he know, I already know what he got, what he don't got, and how we keep remixing. So I shows up. I pulls up. And then, this is the way I am, family. I know I'm loud. I know I'm in your face. I know I'm go hard, but I only respond. Brasswell Bay, while I'm sitting there looking at the history lesson that he gives us, Brasswell Bay got a nerve to say, oh, you created a fake temple. What? Created a fake temple? I waited till he was finished. And then I went in. But now, his assistant, or supposedly his assistants, Brother Carter Bay, loved this brother passion. But he needed to come home and let us help build this. I had a conversation right here, and here's the conversation.
I'm about to do something that my teacher taught me to do, Brasswell Bay.
What?
I asked this Mo a question first about the houses. You see how he gonna switch it on me and try to throw the camera on me? No, you didn't put me on defense, Mo. The first thing that's on the table, right? You said you're gonna put up, right? You said you're gonna put up 2 houses.
Now, at this time, I had a few rental properties. I'm saying if they prove me wrong, I would donate 2 houses to that organization. Listen.
If we could not produce minutes from where?
From 1935 every year to 19. I'm gonna say 19. When you read Bailey, 85. Now, I didn't even ask them for minutes all the way up to 2018. I say just produce minutes that of every year of a convention. Because if you claim secession, then the operation must go on and the standard must be met. According to you, not according to me, because I don't believe that. But according to you, y'all understand what I'm saying? According to you, that it's unbroken. Everybody with me? According to Brasswell Bay, it's unbroken. So if it's unbroken, one of the standards have to be met. One or the other. You just can't name people and say that they was in leadership. You have to show minutes and the transfer of power. If they didn't have a big convention, okay, just show us the transfer of leadership. But so I said to him.
To 1985, right? 2 houses. Yeah. So do we know what these houses are?
Yeah, we need the address.
We need the address.
Do I own some stuff? See how he did that? He started talking about, do we know where these houses are? It's the same thing Brasswell Bay did in that 16-minute video. He talked about central authority for about 5 minutes. The rest of the 10 minutes was trying to detract you. We just want the truth. We don't want to hear your little smooth over stuff. Well, you know, you keep fighting over who's the leadership. You're not going to get nothing done. We don't want to hear that. In fact, the video is uploaded on a Maxim YouTube channel that is produced by a bona fide respected scholar. A bona fide respected scholar named Dr. Piamente Bay. A bona fide respected scholar. Now, you can't run this game to a bona fide respected scholar. A bona fide respected scholar need to see the receipts because he's a scholar. And that's what drives a scholar, not the Christian brush over, well, just leave it to the Lord. No. Oh, what you supposed to take over now? No. If you claim what you claim, we need you to produce. I'm producing facts right now.
No,
I own
okay,
some
you
stuff,
own-
brother.
so, okay,
I'm not one of them lords that's
you getting one of them. Right. Because you say you don't believe, right, that this can be produced.
Right.
And you may be coming under this grand body is predicated. Hold on.
I didn't say none of that,
I was
bro.
about to say, correct me if I'm wrong.
Watch how he filibuster. This is the same thing Brasswell Bay did in the video. He throw a distraction.
Right? Because you coming under this grand body, because once that evidence is produced, what other way is there to go?
Brother, let me tell you something.
Can you ask a question?
This is what I said. I said, if you can produce that, then we can have a conversation.
Oh.
Is that what I said?
And you have 2 houses.
That's
And
what I said.
and you say you put up
That's
two
what I
houses.
said. Now.
We're going to have a conversation about 2 houses.
If you don't produce, what you giving up? Y'all see Brasswell Bay in the back? He's nervous.
What I'm giving up? Why would I give up anything? You the one put the 2 houses up. What you want? What do you want? What do you want?
We're giving you the
You want to put my house up?
information. We're giving you the information.
You don't have
Right.
the information.
What do you want?
Now,
What you want?
you gotta put your house up.
You wanna put my-
Remember, this all started from Brasswell Bay saying that I have a fake temple. Look at this.
house
You
up?
married?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
married.
so I don't want to trouble from your wife. But listen. No. Put the camera on him like him. Like
sir,
you
yes,
always
sir.
testing me anyway.
Yes, sir.
You want to try me anyway.
Oh no!
No, I
see,
don't.
see, this was the Hawkins Bay one.
No, I don't. We not lying. And I'm telling you, man, these are my friends. I love these brothers. I'm not beefing with these brothers. I don't hate these brothers. Just like Mars TV. Mars TV is off on the deep end, but I love them. I love brother. I love anybody that stick to their guns. I think it's foolish to stick to your guns when you ain't got no bullets, though. And Mars TV don't have no bullets. They don't have no bullets. Then I'm going to show you where we supposed to go with this. So you telling me, right? You telling me that you can... Listen, Truth Health. Who cares about the broken lineage? Everybody need to care about it because this is how people are validating their legitimacy. This is what this is about. This is about people validating their legitimacy on a lie. You call yourself True Health? Are you crazy? These people are validating themselves on a lie and no one knows how to move. This is the purpose of this. This is not gossip. Anybody that's in the virtual Moorish Science Temple of America, hold up one second. Let me tell the Grand Sheik, if he wants to close it out, he can close it out because I'm going to go on till I finish on this channel. Grand Sheik, are you there? Mazouk Razin El. It's 4:37. I'm going to go on this until I finish this presentation. Our Sunday class in the virtual temple, it can close out and everybody can come over here. Honor to Mazouk Raziel. I don't see my brother, the Grand Sheik in there, so maybe we can close it out and I'll continue this. Sheik, I appreciate it if you could close out the meeting for us, and I'll continue here because I got a lot going on because I ran into some difficulties. So I got to do it. Islam?
Grand Sheik.
Islam. So I'm going to let him close out over there, and we're going to get busy. That's right, Truth. I appreciate it, brother. You know, I'm in the ether plane, Truth. Work with me, Truth.
Let me get my paperwork together here, and are we ready to close out now so we can get back there? Okay.
Hold up. I'm in my ether plane right now, Truth. I'm in my ether plane, brother. You say anything, I might go off. I love you too. Let's go. And produce the minutes from 1935, unbroken, every year to 1985.
You've done said about 20 times already.
No. This is a yes or no. And it's going to show emphatically the leadership passed down of Supreme Grand Sheiks.
How can the minutes, brother? First of all,
This is the point of the minutes. This is the point.
Hold on, time. What? Right? You trying to preempt what I was about to say?
Look at Brasswell Bay face in the background. Look at Brasswell Bay face in the background. I know about the hookup. At this time, I'm not telling them that I know about the hookup. I'm just throwing stuff out there at this time. I know about the hookup, but he don't think I know about the hookup. See, he don't understand that me and Belial had and continues to have a close relationship. It's my man. I got more goods than what you think I have. That's my man.
Brothers and sisters,
You trying to filibuster.
what else is minutes going to show but a line of letters of leadership? Of course.
Okay.
You cannot.
But you didn't answer. You still didn't answer. Listen real closely, family. This is his support right here. This is his support. Remember, we are talking about Brasswell Bay saying there is no break. And I hope somebody passed this to Jose Pimentel Bay. Dr. Jose Pimentel Bay.
I just asked a question.
You going to show?
You cannot have a Moorish Science Temple of America without a head.
Right.
So, of course, the minutes are going to show that somebody's in charge.
Okay.
So it's going to show.
You going to show. The reason why he say somebody, because they already sit in the background and try to figure out how they was going to cover this up. And so if anything comes up, and I'm going to tell you what they do now. They always say, oh, it was a chairman. Oh, it was a chairman. It was a chairman. No, we're talking about a Supreme Grand Sheik functioning within the structure called the Moorish Science Temple of America from every leadership that you named on a legal document. Can we put an answer?
I just asked a question.
You going to show?
You cannot have a Moorish Science Temple of America without a head.
Right.
So, of course, the minutes are going to show that somebody's in charge.
Okay.
So it's going to show.
You
the
going to
minutes,
show
brother.
that? Can we put an answer?
I just asked a question.
You going to show?
You cannot have a Moorish Science Temple of America without a head.
Right.
So, of course, the minutes are going to show that somebody's in charge.
Okay.
So it's going to show.
You
the
going to
minutes,
show
brother.
that? Can we put a date when we can meet and show this? You were right in D.C. When you want to do this?
Chicago is the land.
When you want to go to Chicago?
When I want to go, it's me.
I'm on your time. Look at Brasswell Bay. check them out. You should have never came back.
Whenever the Grand Sheik calls me to come to Chicago.
When you want me to come?
It'll be forthcoming.
Huh?
It'll be forthcoming.
It'll be forthcoming. You see?
Well,
Man, I should have went live on Moisture TV, man. This is
Hey,
that's it.
No. He said it.
I already know that they can't produce. They can't produce this lie. Listen, let me say this before I go any further. We, the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we do not walk on that lie. We don't believe any side is living in the truth as it relates to them lying, saying that, number one, Kirkman Bey took over from Prophet Noble Drew Ali from 1929. That's a lie. And this side here, they hooked it up and cooked it up. That's a lie. And so our position is that we are the third and fourth generation. We must look at the structure from research, from elders, and put it together and build this Moorish Science Temple of America. Anything other than that is a dead end road. This is what we about. The Moorish Science Temple of America. This is what we about. We about looking. We're not claiming that somebody. Only thing I claim is that Belial made me an adapt, a sheik, but that doesn't qualify me. What qualifies me is my knowledge of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, my knowledge of the movement, my knowledge of the operation of the movement, my knowledge of the historical account of the movement, and every functional part of the movement, how the grand body function, how the political party function, or body politic function. How the Supreme Grand Council function, how the local temples function, how the Grand Governor function, how the governor function, how the Grand Sheik function, how the chairman function, how the secretary function. Only elders and research can get you that. This is why all of these people calling themselves Moorish Science Temple of America has hit a brick wall. Because you can't do, what is the spiritual element? Why everybody like Brasswell Bey, he likes to go to and deal with Sufism. Why is he dealing with Sufism? Because he don't understand the spiritual properties of this book. We shouldn't be going to no Sufism. This is Sufism on steroids. Why do so many Moors go towards Al-Islam? Because they don't understand the spiritual essence of this book. Why do so many Moors sound like they still in the church? Because they don't understand the spiritual essence of this book. And nor do they understand the body politic or governmental structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But we have a working understanding in the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the definite article, and I can explain that too. While we are the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I can explain it and qualify it with Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Somebody say, how did Belial make you a sheik or adapt? Brother, there's a process of becoming a sheik or adapt. Me and Belial are still good. I don't have nothing against Belial. I love Belial. That's my brother. But if you become a sheik or adapt by one who was made a sheik or adapt, by the prophet, it's your responsibility, if something is not right, to come forth. On the back here, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, these are trustees. I consider myself a trustee. If I don't know it, some other sheik should come forth. If that sheik don't know it, some other sheik should come forth. We shouldn't cover no lies for nobody. This is a holy and divine movement. So if this is a perpetual movement, if this is a perpetual movement, if this is a perpetual movement, no man can destroy it. And if you are spiritual beings, the ancestors will guide you forth. The universe will guide you to truth. The universe will guide you to truth. And then the public will raise you up to sovereign power. So you can demonstrate and duplicate exactly what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali demonstrated. I'll talk about that too, Terrell Johnson. That's a lie too. Hey, do y'all want me to cover all these subjects? Belial being removed? Anyway, how can Belial be removed from something that is illegitimate anyway? Can you answer me? You cannot be removed. I'm telling you that is illegitimate. Do everybody agree that this line is illegitimate? Press 1 if this line is illegitimate. Is Belial an adap? Of course. I believe that. Did he stick to the prophet's script? Of course. I believe that until they hooked it up and cooked it up. So the whole, let me get back to it, family. I got about another 45 minutes. Let me get back to it. Now, Belial as an adab, as a sheikh, is legitimate. But from the organizational structure, that is illegitimate. Those are two different things. Those are two different things. Any sheikh or an adab that is associated with a sheikh or an adab, by the way of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, becomes a trustee. That's right. That's right, Morse Jedi. All of them are illegitimate. And so what that says, Morse Jedi, the Prophet never meant it to be that way. So what we must do, press 1 if you hear me, Morse Jedi, if they are illegitimate and the Prophet never meant it to be that way, and this is a perpetual organization, what is the alternative besides one coming in, seeing and knowing, sitting the old Moors to the back by doing it the way that the history records, that the elders record, and bringing it back into existence? That could be only the alternative. There could be no alternative. The only alternative, if that's a lie, then it's up for the people to decide, according to research, according to elders, how the Moorish Science Temple is supposed to look, and raise them up to sovereign power and take it to the finish line. And take it to the finish line. Anything other than that is uncivilized. But people are going to keep supporting the lie because they feel good with the mob. Now, here we go. This guy talking about to the executive government exhort me. Let me get you up out of there. So here we go. Everybody, if you haven't subscribed, take a minute and subscribe because I'm about to turn up a little bit more. There is no legitimate leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali created. They have yet to come and duplicate, imitate the structure in the movement as the Prophet did. You have a lot of people that are leaders of factions called the Moorish Science Temple of America, including myself. But until we duplicate, which that's our goal. Until we duplicate, it's just a club. It's just a club. It's just a church. Our organization pride ourselves on, if the Prophet ain't do it, then we're not doing it. If the prophet didn't do it, we're not doing it. We just want to do the basics. We just want to do the basics that made the Moors and the prophets successful. If we can do the basics from the body politic part, from the governmental part, from the religious part, from the civic part, if we can do the basics, we will have the same results as Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's what the Moors I lead. We will have the same. Terrell Johnson. Don't worry, we good in that area too. But even corporate paperwork is not going to put a building on the ground to house a school. But we good in that part area too. Believe me, we are good. Look, this is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. If you cannot prove, if you can't come in here and show me the lie, I'm going to block you from the channel. We're not going to have you up in here just making statements. So, Jonathan Scott Bay, if I don't see in 5 minutes that you are willing to come on and show me the falsehood, I'm going to block you from the channel. Because we're not going to have these distractions no more. Those days are over. Those days are over. Anybody that says I'm lying, I need you to come in and prove my lie that I said in the last hour. That's what I need you to do. I'm not going to have you saying that I'm lying and you can't come and prove it. And you ain't going to come in here talking. Get your files together. You got 5 minutes. We're not going to have that no more. Those days are gone. Where you can just say something about something and don't have to prove it. You have to prove I'm lying today. And guess what? If I'm lying, I'm willing enough to eat that. I'm willing enough to eat that. Are you ready now? Hold up. Let's get them in here. I got time today. Just looking at my watch, I got time today. Come on, Jonathan. Show me where I'm lying. Just look at my watch, I got time today. Just looked at my watch, I got time today. Jonathan, he crossing the line today. Just look at my watch, I got time today. Jonathan Bay crossing the line today. Come on, hit that link so I can move on. Hit that link so I can move on. See, I'm different from the rest. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna talk all articulate. I ain't doing none of that. I'm gonna talk so you can understand. And I'm gonna bring proof. But don't come in here talking. Now, let's get to the next one. Let's get to the next one. Here we go. Where you at? Another thing that the brother said.
Right now, we have vacancies on the Supreme Grand Council. Some of them are filled, and we're still looking for good men and women to fill the rest of the vacancies.
So what he's doing here, Brasswell Bay, is projecting. He's projecting like he's the legitimate Moorish Science Temple of America. And he said, we have vacancies on the Supreme Grand Council. But hold up, family. Hold up. Hold up a second. Do y'all remember this? Y'all pay attention? Y'all remember this? Listen to this. Brasswell Bay is supposed to have been in leadership since 1997. And you still have vacancies? You shouldn't have vacancies nowhere. How many years is that? And this is a movement that's going to take us to liberation? He says, Prophet Noble Drew Ali never spoke negative about Masons or fraternities. No, not at all. But he's projecting like he's the legitimate Moorish Science Temple of America. But he claims that he's been in position by the way of removing Belial since 97? Are you serious? Are you serious? This is Prophet Noble Drew Ali's successor. Come on, man. I don't mean to laugh in my scholarship, but I'm just saying. And so he says,
But that doesn't mean the Supreme Grand Council doesn't function, because you can have alternates there.
Then he says you can have alternates. Where did he cook that up at? We got to stop allowing people to talk if they can't produce. He said, then you can have, where did he get that from? That is nowhere in history. That is nowhere in the written record. Alternates. This is why we of the Moorish Science Temple of America are piecing this movement back together the way the prophet had it. This is crazy. And then you can have alternates. What? Where? What are you talking about? If that was the case, there would be assistance. So if one failed, the assistant come in. If one fails at his job, remember what we did back in a few slides ago. What happened in 1930? Emilio was the Grand Sheik and chairman when Claude Green got killed. Blackwell Bay dropped off. Emilio fulfilled the seats. There's no alternate. Emilio, the Grand Sheik and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, he fulfills the position. He appoints someone else. This man is crazy. This man is crazy. I'm sorry, Jose Fermented Bay. This man is crazy. The history shows Emilio, once people fell off the Supreme Grand Council, he fulfills the seats. He said you got alternates. Oh my God. What's this? That was that. Time for me to come in. Let me get in. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a joke. This is why we putting it together. Shout out to Akadat and Salam Bey, the national assistant. This is why we putting it together. And we putting it together according to what the Prophet Noble Ali left us. And my research runs deep. It runs deep. Because I want to get it right. I want to get it right because this is a saving power movement. This is a movement to empower you. This is a movement to walk you to freedom and liberation. Why I'm going to follow a lie no matter how many friends I got? I don't care. Man, me and Sharif Bey, honor to Sharif Bey. I like what I seen him do on Doggy Diamonds the other night. I love me some Sharif Bey, but Sharif Bey is following a lie. And he knows it. And he knows it. But that doesn't change. Sharif Bey is one of the best presenter of his philosophy on Moorish science. I love Brother Hopkins Bey. Hopkins Bey out of Philly, love him. Fuqua Bey, love these brothers. That doesn't mean they're not following a lie from the organizational construct. They know it. They know it just as well as I know it. Why do they stick with it? That's a question for them. I choose to understand that whether you believe in Jesus or not, that it only took 12 and 2,000 years later, we still know about Jesus. So I'm going to take the advice from Emilio. If the one is right, the one becomes the majority. I'm not rolling with no lie. And when the information is presented to me, I'm going to follow the information. I'm not following no lie. Not with something with saving power. Now, I ain't found a lie with nothing, but especially we're talking about a holy and divine prophet. I'm not following no lie. I ain't doing no friends. I ain't doing none of that. The only friend that I have is truth. That's it. And if I produce it to you, Brasswell Bay, Belial, or anybody else, and you choose not to follow the truth, I got to go my separate way. And I got to establish the truth if I have the ability to do so. In the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I must put it on my back. And when we started this meeting, you can hear in the background that we were the first one to take Moorish Science virtually because there's so much corruption, so much misinformation, so much information that can't be validated and people standing on.
To make up the 7. To get the business done for the Moorish Science.
I'm telling you, see, I don't play these games. Let me go back to this. Let me get back to this. Oh, we getting busy now. We up in there cooking now, I Am Hip Hop. We cooking. Because that video was a response to you and I video, brother. 8 days later, I've been doing this stuff for a minute, brother. You see it, back in 2018, I addressed it. You follow me? We already did that. So now, Emeliel is the Supreme Grand Sheik. Of course, the next one that they have is Lewis L. Oh, no, I forgot one. Harlan Bay. The only thing that we have on Harlan Bay is 1936. And we have Harlan Bay in 1936. This is the convention that Sister Delia Miliel put together in 1936. So in 1936, that's why I say be careful, because I know the history of this. In 1936, Sister Delia Miliel put the first convention together since 1933, right? And she appointed Harlan Bay to be the chairman of the convention. Y'all hear me? So we got the broken line. However, when you look at this convention, it's not a convention in the conventional sense. How do we know? Family, here we go. I'm about to hurt some feelings. When we look at this convention, right? The only person that you see in the entire convention is Harlan Bay. He's opened the convention. See that? It's the only person you see. In fact, let me bring up one of the convention flyers of Harlan Bay. This is the sad part. Let me bring it up real quick. If I can find it right quick. I think I got it somewhere. But the whole program, this is the sad part about it. The whole program, everything was under Harlan Bay. You understand what I'm saying? Everything. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. The whole demonstration. I think I got it right here. This is the sad part about it. You know what I'm saying? And so when they call it a convention, it wasn't a typical convention. Bring it up right now. Let me see. It wasn't a typical convention. That's the sad thing about it. It was Harlan Bay doing everything. That wasn't. Oh, man. That's all right. I don't want to waste too much time right there. Let's do it like this. I think I got it. Come on. Scroll. I want to show the people. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Let me see if I can share this with you real quick. So here we go, family. This is the sad part. This is the disheartening part. Although a convention was held, this is the disheartening part. When you look at it, Harlan Bay, formal opening of the convention, Harlan Bay, roll call, address, Harlan Bay, presentation of chairman, Harlan Bay, announcement of convention program, Harlan Bay, opening convention on Wednesday, Harlan Bay, presentation of credentials by delegates, nothing. Opening of convention 17th, Harlan Bay. Report governors of Grand Sheiks, address, there was nothing. Song, opening of convention, Harlan Bay. Opening of convention on the 19th, Harlan Bay. Opening of the convention on the 20th, Harlan Bay. Final meeting of convention, reading the general laws. And obviously, that was Harlan Bay. Now, let me stop there for a minute. Let me do a comparison. Let me do a comparison real quick. Where was that? I'm on number 55. I got a whole bunch of slides. Y'all see all these slides? I put in this work for you, family, because we need to get this right. Well, I had it right here. Hold on one second. So let me give it to you real quick. Let me show you a flyer similar. Okay, here we go. Got one. So this is how we know that it wasn't a typical convention. Everything was done by Harlan Bay. He was trying to hold things together, I would imagine, or bring it back together. Formal opening of the convention. This is in 1930. Brother T. Owsley Bay, governor of Milwaukee. Roll call of delegates. Address T. Owsley Bay. Presentation of permanent chairman. Brother E. Miliel, Supreme Grand Sheik. Announcement of convention program. Brother E. Miliel. Brother E. Miliel, Supreme Grand Sheik. Presentation by delegates' credentials. Brother J. Trailer Bay. Address with a song was Brother H. White Bay. Go up here. Brother E. Miliel, Supreme Grand Sheik. Report of governors and Grand Sheiks of various temples. Brother A. Gavitt Bay. I'm sorry. Then they opened up on the 18th. Brother E. Miliel, Grand Sheik. Addressed by F. Nelson Bay, Grand Sheik of Detroit. Address Sister Dovell, Temple number 9. So as you can see right there, you notice that the convention was going on during 1931. During 1930, 31. But by the time Harlan Bay is supposedly the chairman, he's not the chairman and Grand Sheik. He's chairman of me. It looks like he's being hopeful to try to bring it back together. You understand what I'm saying? But he's the only one on. So there's another break. The only thing I got on that research, if somebody got some more, bring it forth, is that that program. And on that program, that's all you see is Harlan Bay. Come on, family. So you mean tell me that
if the line is broken, what does that make you? That mean you're supposed to take over? That means, it's no more, it's all broken up, so that means that you're supposed to slide in?
No, what's supposed to happen, Brasswell Bay, is that we supposed to figure out what's the alternative to the lie. And the faithful are supposed to come together and put this movement back on the ground the way it was intended. When the Prophet Noble Drew Ali talks about the third and fourth generation coming in, seeing and hearing, he's talking about this generation. When he talk about sitting you old Moors to the back, he's talking about we're going to outwork you. We're going to show you the truth. The people are going to see the truth. And we all going to work together and we're going to benefit like the Moors benefit from 1926 to 28, but we're going to take it all the way to the next level. We're going to take it all the way to the next level. But we're going to take it from the next level because we got a bird's eye view of your mistakes, of your lies, and your misrepresentation of Prophet Noble Drew Ali's movement. We got everything to see all the pieces of the movement. We got everything to see all the pieces of the movement. You follow me? So you can't lie no more.
No, there's no sliding in. There's a continuance.
So we know that's a lie. I proved it's a lie. Anybody watching, have I proved so far that that's a lie? Press 1 if I prove that it's a lie. Anybody? Now, let's go straight here. We about to wrap up in a minute. The next one, Lewis L. Again, no convention minutes. No nothing. You hear me? No nothing. That's a break. No minutes, no appointment, no convention, no nothing. We're talking about a break in the leadership of Supreme Grand Sheiks. Where is the convention flyer? Where is the convention, what you call it, the program? Where are the minutes? Anything? Where is it? Where is it? And again, I invite Mars TV to produce every convention held by Kirkman Bey from 1929 to 1934. Produce everything. If you can't produce that, then that's a lie too. And I'm telling you that you can't produce it because Kirkman Bey was not running conventions in successions as a leadership of any Moorish Science Temple of America from 1929. So that's a lie too. I don't care. Like, we can get into emotions. We can do all of that. That's a lie too. So if that's a lie too, that means we've gotten off the path. I mean, we have gotten off the path, and it's up to us to get back on the path. Listen, here's the Christian. Just because we don't have the minutes doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Minutes is a legal document. Do you know what minutes are? Prophet established the minute process is because that is a legal document of an organization that can be used to verify the legitimacy and the continuancy in the court of law. That is illegal. When you use the term minutes, you're putting a legal connotation to it. What are you talking about? Just because you don't believe Jesus ain't walk on water don't mean he ain't do it. Come on, man. Come on, man. We're talking research here. We're not talking emotions. And so the only way that they come up with Lewis L is because they seen him in the 1936. And most likely he was the chairman from my research. But for 24 years, we only can find him. For 24 years, we only can find him in the 1936. Right there. But for 24 years, where are the minutes for 24 years? Where is it? Mars, I'm going to have to push you out too because you're never going to bring no evidence. Got to go. Everybody can't bring evidence. We don't have no conversation no more. That's it. I love you too. If you just going to bring rhetoric and distractions, I'm going to block you. I don't care how much I like you. If you're just bringing rhetoric and distractions, you got to go. That's how it's going down on this channel from now on. Either you're going to sit back and be taught the history, but if you bring in rhetoric and distractions, I'm going to get you out of here. Because if I look at Mars and I said, I just showed you conventions held by Emiliel, and I just spent from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the East Coast producing facts, and you think you're going to detract something with a comment? Brother, you tripping. You better come up in here and produce. You better get up here and produce. Now, so O. Louis L., 24 years, no conventions in 24 years documented. Press 1 if y'all hear what I just said. No conventions in 24 years documented. Press 1 if y'all hear what I just said. And if there's no convention, that would just like be having, they're not having a Republican convention for 24 years and claiming that these Republican offices have switched seats. That don't make sense. We're talking about scholarship. We're not talking about motions. We're not talking about friendship. We're not talking about, hold up, let's try to fix it. No, we're talking about scholarship today. That's what we're talking about. Talking about scholarship. That's all we're talking about. We're talking about proof. We're talking about evidence. We're talking about scholarship. Not talking about no emotions. Not on this channel. Too much hard work has been into, too much travel has been put into me to get all this information. And now I'm spending 2, possibly 3 hours to present it to you, and we're going to let somebody just come in with a comment, talk crazy? No, you got to go. Not today. Not today. Maybe on Morris World TV, but not on this channel. All right? So here we go. Now, again, this is what Brasswell put into place in 1990 and 2008. You feel me? Now, in 92, remember I said P. Davis L. now got in 93. Some kind of way they got Brasswell to, as it says here, hold up. Retire. Now you mean tell me that Brasswell was in office from 1968 to 92, and then he retires when P. Davis L. and Brasswell Bay show up. He retires when P. Davis L. and Brasswell Bay show up, and then P. Davis L. becomes the Supreme Grand Sheik from this line that obviously I just proved was made up. Why am I saying this? Because this is how they try to legitimize themselves as being the official Prophet Noble Drew Ali's Moorish Science Temple of America, when that's a flat out lie from both sides. So those who wish to join with myself, that's right, I'm putting it out there, need to come on and let's build this thing. Other than that, you're just building the house on sand. I'm boldly saying, if you love the Prophet movement from what you read, come on, let's build it. I don't care what nobody say about me. Oh, that's what you're trying to do. I'm telling you that P. Davis L., Brasswell Bay, and then along came Rasadi L. They cooked up this scheme. And if they cooked up a scheme, ain't nothing holy and divine about this. Now, but for people that says, you know what I mean, that Brasswell was removed Terrell Johnson, you must be young, brother. You're not going to produce no facts either. Are you ready to produce facts, Terrell Johnson? Are you ready to produce facts, Terrell Johnson? I just told you that me and Belial was cool. I got the receipts about who was stealing money. I got the receipts. And I actually did a video about how Brasswell Bay called Belial a homosexual as a distraction. It's on Morshwell TV. Go check it out with receipts. Be careful. I just put the link in there. But you got to bring receipts. Don't come here talking that Belial a homosexual. Show me. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I already did a video on it. The reason, let me show you something real quick. Let me give it to you like this. Family, I am one of the only ones that was under the leadership and continue to consider Belial my elder, my friend, and consider him an adapt and a sheik and a trustee of the Moorish Science Temple of America that came to defend Belial. I did all the research to prove that stuff is a lie. I did all the research to prove that was a lie. And I'm going to put the video in the comment section here when I finish so you can examine it for yourself. And guess what? I actually asked Belial myself. I got it recorded. And I got the research. And I got the research. What happened was Belial and Brasswell Bay went into some confrontation. You know what I'm saying? They went into some confrontation. Brasswell Bay actually embezzled the money and went to Africa. He wouldn't answer the charges, and then he was removed. And then when he was removed, he came back with the accusation that Belial was a homosexual. We got that. We got that. We even got the letters. We even got the letters where I examined the letters where this lady tried to say Belial assaulted her. We examined that too. I covered all of this stuff. In fact, I did one video where I called Belial on the phone and I said, Belial, talk to the people. Can you give us an idea where this homosexual thing came from? And he explains it. It was slander. The same way they did Sister Delia Miliel. They said that she was sleeping with Morrisell. The same way they did Sister Pearl Drew Ali. They said that she was sleeping with Claude Green. This is how they do. This is how they do. When one is trying to remove one out of position to place themselves, they do it by any means necessary. And slander is at the top of the list. Usually for a woman, they try to make her seem promiscuous. And for a man, they try to make him be either promiscuous or homosexual. But in this game, we need to see receipts, not gossip, receipts. We need to see receipts. You ain't got no receipts. You just gossiping. It's slander. Everything that I produced today, press one, family. If everything that I produced today is receipt, is receipts and more receipts. I'm not gossiping. You may don't like how I present it, but it's all receipts. Say it ain't. It's all receipts. You may not like my energy and all that. I don't matter. It's all receipts. Let me wrap it up. So this is where Belial filed the affidavit. You know what I mean? You're definitely not a solution to be joining an informative brother. You are, but a third last more stop anyone will want to stop at. You are, but hold up. join you, you're definitely not a solution to be joining. An informative brother you are, but the third last Moorish stop anyone should want to stop at. I agree to you, J-Ho. I agree. So go continue doing what you're doing. Nothing wrong with that. And see the difference between me and other people. I don't believe everybody is going to join the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't believe all Moors are going to come together. But what I do believe is that those who don't know that they are Moors would do more work than these people that call themselves Moors ever done. I believe the people that don't wear fezzes, that decide to put on a fez and proclaim their nationality, I believe those that never heard of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali would do more work than a person like J. Howe has ever done. And so that's who we subscribe to. We subscribe to those who never heard the Moorish Science Temple of America, styled as the Noble Temples. Under my leadership, our mandate is clear. We want to go and get those that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali got. And when he showed up in Chicago, there was nobody wearing a turban. There was nobody wearing a fez besides Masons. But he went to those who were not wearing turbans, who was not wearing fezzes, who did not know that they were Moors. And then he got them together. And then they did the great work of building temples, putting up schools, putting up business everywhere. Elijah Muhammad duplicated and took it to another level on the Do for Self platform. But Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the blueprint. And so for brothers like Lowe, absolutely, I wouldn't want one to join me that doesn't have the confidence that we got the blueprint over here. Because many people don't want to do the work. This is a lot of work. To set up a Supreme Grand Council, to interface with City Council so we can get things put in our favor. So to get a real council that is respected and honored as a voice of the people, that's a lot of work. Most of these Moors are not only former criminals, but continue to be criminals. Most of these Moors have no track record of producing much. Why would I want you to bring that baggage to me? Jonathan Scott Bay, I'm saying that those that don't know that they're Moors those that don't know that they're Moors, and you teach them the right way, there'll be more of help for our liberation than those that have been taught the wrong way and protect the lie. You follow me? Those who don't know the truth, they protect the lie. Those that have been following the lie, some will even try to kill you to keep that lie going. But those that are taught right will be the prophet's helpers. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay, let me go on with this. So now, as I wrap this up, because I'm almost done, here's P. Davis L. from 1992 to 97, right? Here is the first convention 57 years later. You see this? 57 years later, You hear this? 1936 to P. Davis L. and them did a convention in 1993. 57 years. And remember, Brasswell Bay says there is no break. And I just showed you the break. 57 years. And in 92, that's when they hooked it up and had a convention in 93. Prove me wrong. So if you want to come and build this thing, let's build it. If you want to spin your wheels with some nonsense, that's fine too. But I'm telling you that Brasswell Bay is flat out capping. Flat out. Flat out. There's nothing that he can do about it because we got the goods. I got the research. I got the research. You follow me? Look at this.
We appoint. We don't elect positions. We may elect issues or come to elect a consensus on issues.
And I really think he was forced to do this video because I'm studying his body language and he's very nervous. If anybody know anything about body language, this brother is very nervous because he's capping.
But when the officers are there, they are appointed. That's why the prophet has a copy on his first meeting on the back of the questionnaire. Those were appointments to appoint, anoint, and appoint.
So my point is this. If he's saying that it's an appointment, then show us these appointments that you use as your successor, as the successors to your succession. I am hip hop. He's very hesitant because he know I know. And so what surprised me about Brasswell Bay on this, I'm feeling like somebody put him up to it because this is not the first time that I've addressed this. I've addressed this to all the leaders. And this is why I told I am hip hop. Brother, I have already talked to these leaders. I've already talked to it. Look, it may be an old recording. It doesn't sound like to me, but if it is, it's forced to put out like this because of what we just put out. Because what me and I Am Hip Hop Temple did on this channel last week, this came out. Normally, this brother don't say nothing. And it's best you keep your mouth closed, especially if I think you're responding to me. If you're responding to me, you don't keep your mouth closed, it's going to be a problem. Because I'm going to start bringing receipts. And it's not. Listen, check this out. Listen to this.
The appointments continues according to Act 1 and additional laws as continues, or you can be taken out of office. The appointment continues by the Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman, as the prophet said.
Do you hear what he said? Listen. Give me 1 second, family. Give me 1 second. Let me show you this. Oh, here we go. He said, I want to show y'all something real quick. I'm gonna show y'all all cap. Like on a computer, you're gonna see all caps. Let me see something real quick. Thought I just pulled it up. So listen. So listen, I don't even want to do that one. I'm going to show you the one that he's reading from. Let me do the one where he's reading from. Divine con. Anyway, I'd say it like this for the sake of time. He says, let me play it again.
To merely yield by the Supreme Grand Sheik. The appointment continues by the Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman, as the Prophet said, to merely yield. You will sit in.
He says, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this.
You can be taken out of office. The appointment continues by the Supreme Grand laws as continues, or you can be taken out of office. The appointment continues by the Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman, as the Prophet said to merely yield. You will sit in my seat in my absence.
Akhenaten just said it for me. I was trying to find it again. The additional laws don't say nothing what he's saying. Let me do it again.
The appointments continues according to Act 1 of the additional laws as continues, or you can be taken out.
He says in the additional laws, and I'm gonna try to read it the way that the one he's reading, because we don't read that one. It says the Grand Sheik, because I always read the Grand Sheik is the governing head of our temple. The Grand Sheik is in the temple. All businesses must be approved by the prophet before acting upon by any members. That any finance, property will be any line of life that will cause a member to sacrifice finance. It doesn't say nothing what he says. It doesn't say nothing what he says. Nothing. And he's capping.
The appointment continues by the Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman, as the Prophet said to merely.
So that's a cap too. Let me see what else I got before I wind it down. Video file. So we're going all in. What he says right here.
Without the central authority headed by the Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman, who is the mouthpiece for the Supreme Grand Council of 7 men, tried and true, agreed to by you, according to the Prophet, then it's a mouth. The Supreme Grand Council is never non-existent as long as you have a Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman who appoints.
He's capping. He's capping. The Supreme Grand Council, I'm here to tell you, was non-existent for 57 years. And when he tried to install himself, because he installed himself on a lie, it continued to be non-existent, and it will continue to be non-existent until we put it together. You hear what I said? It will continue to be not in existence until we put it together and it mirrors what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali demonstrated and the instructions that he gave us. These are the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us we must preserve these holy and divine instructions. I agree with Ishmael Bey. I believe R. Jones Bey is a genuine soul, but I believe R. Jones Bey know the truth also. But he's in too deep, and he's not going to reveal the truth, and he's not going to change anything that is lined up and which he supported for all of these years. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I'm not saying he's not he's not. I believe he knows the truth. I mean, I believe he knows the truth. Last but not least, see what else I got. Here we go. This is the distraction.
Nationality, and be aware of that. So I say to Moorish America, and I say it with a sincere heart, the Prophet has already said who's in charge.
You see with that? That's the pardon my Christian brothers and sisters, but we know how the weak pastor do. They start to distract you. The prophet already said. Well, what Jesus said is, he started looking at the prophet like Jesus in the Christian sense. Well, the prophet already says who in charge. Look.
If you spend all of your life talking about who's in charge and who's the grand body, who's not, who would be saved?
He's taking something out of the Quran where if you spend all your time pulling other people's weeds, you have no time to pull your own. This does not apply here. Only thing we need from you is proof. That's all we need. He starts saying, if you listen to what he said, he remixed the pull your weeds saying.
Who's the grand body, who's not, who would be saved?
You see?
The prophet has already said who's in charge. If you spend all of your life talking about who's in charge and who's the grand body, who's not, who would be saved? Who will we really help?
You see? You see? Who will be saved? I remember I told Brasswell Bay, I said, brother, you a charming brother, but I'm too smooth to be charmed. I'm too smooth to be charmed, brother.
Let's not forget our position in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Is to see who's in charge or who can be better than that one. We get it that Moorish science is overwhelming, that there's so much that we feel like we...
See how he going off track? You see how he going off track? You see how he going off track? Unbelievable, family, that we fall for this. Unbelievable. So, family, listen, I'm going to put the link in here real quick. Anybody want to come on with any questions? I got 10 minutes. If anybody want to come on with any questions. Now, if you accuse me of something, I want you to prove it. Don't accuse me of something that you can't prove. All right? I mean, but you can ask me anything. And I'm not going to be digging up anything right now. Maybe I come back next week and do it. But you can come on and you can ask me whatever you want. You know what I mean? And again, the only alternative can be is that the third and fourth generation put this movement back together. But you must know all the components in order for it to be effective and be put together from the prophet's structure and from his blueprint. And I'm convinced that most people don't know that. Most people don't know that. I've watched elders that taught me a lot about how this movement supposed to look. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't backpedal and went crazy. You know what I'm saying? Started calling themselves something else that has nothing to do with the prophet's movement and acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm convinced that most of these people has lost their mind. And they don't care about that. They only care about their current take on some dues. They only care about their current take on popularity. I mean, many of them never been popular before. I've always been popular all my life. I can take you to where I grew up at. I've always been popular, so I could care less about being popular. Man, I know that my life was in an uproar. My life was in a whirlwind. But when I begin to apply the true and living teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali within the past 10 years, my whole situation changed. Everything changed. When I was following that madness that I thought was the Moorish Science Temple of America, man, I was out there tripping. What's up, Terrell Johnson? How you doing, Islam, brother?
Islam, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. Come on, let's go. What you got for me?
All is well. I ain't into disagreement with what you're saying as far as Brasswell, baby. But my only issue with what you were saying due to the legitimacy of that body from P. Davis L, from Baylor L on down. Because if how you saying it, then that means Baylor L was never a Supreme Grand Sheik.
That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying since Emiliel, there has not been no Supreme Grand Sheik.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So what happened to that lineage and that body? Because
bro, listen,
different minutes and records that we seen, a lot of them from talking to Saudi L, Bruin Tabay, most definitely Bruin Tabay, because he's a grand historian when it comes to I don't know about other bodies, but I just know about Brasswell Bay administration. Okay. So what I'm saying is I personally have not seen the minutes of any secession, but following from what we said with Baylor L, how is it that we're going to say that they're not legitimate if they continue and they still have certain documents, seals, or whatever have you from Emiliel or the original charter?
Okay, let me ask you, have you seen these documents yourself?
I've no one that's actually have.
All right,
seen.
there you go. There we go. Let's stop there. Let's stop there. They have been saying that they had this stuff forever. So either they're going to shut Tahaka Bay up or they're going to get out the way.
Well, me knowing them, they never, we being a part of that body, never got to see it. There were a lot of grand shit.
Listen to me. I want to say this again, brother. I feel what you're saying. We are at the point now where since 1997, Brasswell Bay came to be a Supreme Grand Sheik. And if he haven't shown it to legitimize himself by now, there's a good chance that he doesn't have it.
I agree with you.
And I don't care.
I agree with you with that, saying that, but that's why what happened with the original body now is when ones like Bruin Bay and the other ones exposed the corruption that was going on inside.
Well, I've been exposed that, and Bruin Bay got mad at me, and the whole body attacked me 3 years ago because they attacked me first.
One thing I can say about those, they're not going to move until they see certain things. We could never say certain things until you've seen it for yourself. So
exactly,
in this age now, a lot of more information.
But now, Terrell Johnson, let me say this because I don't want to get stuck here.
Most definitely.
Many people are talking about from the organizational structure is what I'm speaking of.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Supreme Grand Council since Emiliel.
True.
Is what I'm saying.
True. You're right.
There was no Supreme Grand Sheik since Emiliel. And so for Brasswell Bay to say that it was unbroken, it's a lie. And if we're talking about a holy and divine movement, the leader cannot be a liar. And if he is a liar, he has to make a speedy reparation to the utmost of his power, and the people must re-accept him as their leader.
Islam.
Now, if he makes a speedy reparation, because he's been living this lie so much, do he know how to bring forth the alternative truth that's supposed to be in place for this perpetual organization?
We do. And this is why we're giving you credit for it, because we do. This is why they vacated their offices.
So let me say this, but hold up, Terrell Johnson. Last one thing, and I'm going to let you roll with it.
Okay.
Secondly, when you study the Prophet Noble Drew Ali closely, you will find that it doesn't take a Supreme Grand Sheik or a Supreme Grand Council to build the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Islam,
In fact, that's the final stage.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet had 15 temples, possibly 22, 15 chartered, and the rest was unchartered, possibly. The last stage was installing the Supreme Grand Council on the 17th of October, 1928. You don't need it. This is ego.
Mm-hmm.
This is nonsense. This is a lie. And they're not following Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And that's why they have not had nothing. They will not have nothing. And we're gonna be speeding right past them, saying, come on, get on, or we're gonna see you later, and we riding on to New Jerusalem.
Islam, I totally agree with you, because I'm not in disagreement with what you're saying. Don't get what I'm saying wrong with saying that I'm debating you about how you feel about, the evidence that presents itself. I only deal in facts. I don't deal in emotion. So that's why ones in the original body, we had his offices vacated. We no longer recognize that administration as the leaders of the movement. So what we have to do is for everybody to stand on the prophet, and everybody that proclaiming to be the original body, bring everything together. So we the ones to sit down and understand that, like you said, the movement runs on autopilot with the grand body. Those are the executive rules of the MSTA. So the movement could have been ran on autopilot without a Supreme Grand Sheik, but because that's what the grand governors, the grand chiefs, and that's what they're there for. So nobody knowing the structure from since Meliel passed until now is mainly the reason why it's in discord the way that it is. So we all have to find a common ground. Like I say, I'm from the original body. Brasswell Bay was the head of our administration, but we understood what we have to do. We can't not just protect, because like I said earlier, it sounded like you were forgetting some of the things that Bailey L did too, because
Bailey L wrong too, brother. No, bro, he was complicit in this. The only thing I'm saying about Bailey L is that I honor him as being a sheik and an adept legitimately. I don't honor him as being a Supreme Grand Sheik legitimately. Those are two different things. I honor him for holding meetings as a chairman in his house. I don't honor him as being a supreme grand sheik of an organization, but I do honor him with being a legitimate adept and sheik because of what we know of Belial. You follow me?
Islam.
Not because of some fantastic paperwork, not because of some cockamamie story. I don't honor him in none of these. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. And until we figure out, like I said, and I think somebody said in here too about the structure. People will never be able to put this together if they don't know the structure
Islam.
handed from Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Not this illusion that we've been given.
Islam.
Have to be sourced directly from Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
But that's why I spoke earlier, because talking to different elders from back when the first generation after the passing of P. Davis Mealy L, they were accusations about what happened and how it was even able to go the way that it went. Like there were people like P. Morris L, Sister Mealy L. It were like I say, I don't know, I wasn't there, but judging on the information that was put out there, we haven't seen no evidence on either side to debunk a lot of it. We were only getting it from one side.
But Terrell Johnson, I'm telling you, I got more research than I put online. And I'm telling you that Sister D. Meliel, she was slandered in those circles. You have to remember there was not internet, there was not telephones that everybody had. Everybody wasn't that fortunate, and they had telegram. But when one said something, it circled in those circles. So when they said that Delia Meliel was messing with Morris L, that was a lie. We can show and prove that. When they say that Delia Meliel about the credentials, nobody can prove that that was a lie. Somebody even told me one time that Sister Christina Price Bay turned the prophet in for some clothes or something goofy like that. That was a lie. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff was gossip of the time. And this gossip was stirred up to turn people away from the Meliels. You feel me? Meliel was a snitch. That was a lie. You feel what I'm saying? Pearl Drew Ali, she cheated with
I can't hear you, Mo.
That might be you. But all of that stuff was a lie. You hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Maz.
I think that's you though. You know what I mean? But the point that I'm making is he can't hear me, but hopefully he can go back and see it. All of that stuff was a lie to bring everybody over to Kirkman Bay. All of it was a lie to draw people away from Meliel and bring them to Kirkman Bay. Again, one of the greatest things is done to destroy a people or organization. They slander the woman. They make her seem like she's a prostitute, that she's promiscuous, and then they even make the man seem like he's promiscuous or he is homosexual. The question is I have to hard update is, can you inform us why the Supreme Grand Council was built and we were able to still have more Science Temple of America function? Hold up. The question I have to hard update is, can you inform us why the Supreme Grand Council was built and we're able to still have more Science Temple? I can't really understand that question. Why it was built? The Supreme Grand Council was built to be a governing factor of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's why it was built. And the functionality of it, man, if you give me a second, if you're gonna be here for a minute, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick and I'll show you real briefly. If you're gonna stay, I just gotta use the restroom. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hold up. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up some of my research real quick. All right, I got it right here. Give me 1 second. Let me use the restroom. Fam, I'm telling you, I do this. I do this for the love. You know what I'm saying? I don't do this for the. I could care less. I do this for the love. Give me a second. I'm gonna do this and then I'll get out of here. I'll answer that question for Jonathan Bay. Give me 1 second.
I'm about to do something that my teacher taught me to do, Brasswell.
What?
I asked this Mo a question first about the houses. You see how he gonna switch it on me and try to throw the camera on me? No, you didn't put me on defense, Mo. The first thing that's on the table, right? You said you're gonna put up, right? You said you're gonna put up 2 houses.
Right.
If we could not produce minutes from where?
From 1935 every year to 19. I'm gonna say 19. When you read barely 85.
To 1985, right? 2 houses. Yeah. So do we know what these houses are?
Yeah, we need the address.
We need the address.
Do I own some stuff?
No,
I own
okay,
some
you
stuff,
own-
brother.
so, okay,
I'm not one of them
I'm
boys
getting
that's
one of them. Oh, you getting one of them? Right. Because you say you don't believe.
It's going to show emphatically the leadership passed down of Supreme Grand Sheiks.
How can the minutes, brother? First of all,
This is the point
Hold
of
on,
the
time
minutes.
out.
Look at Brasswell Bay. So here we go, fam. Let me stop this real quick. Let me show you real quick. So I think Jonathan Bay asked, and I hope I got it right. He says, the question I have to our update is, can you inform us why the Supreme Grand Council was built? Okay, here we go. Real quick, family. And this is a great lesson too, family. Let me tell you. That ain't it. Is that it? Is that it? Okay. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can get it up here real quick. Okay. So, what's going on here? I'm gonna get that out right there. All right. I got it takes a minute for this one to load because I had to track it down. Come on, get on up out of here. Because I think this is a valuable lesson that I will do too. I did part of it with Brother Rami. You know what I'm saying? Computer act a little bit slow now. I'm doing too much. Okay, here it is. All right. All right, so look. When you look at the Supreme Grand Council, are you there? Are you there, Jonathan? Are you there? Let me make sure the brother is there. Make sure he's there. Okay, all right, he there. All right, so look, this is a valuable lesson right here that we should all pay attention to. So when you look at the Supreme Grand Council, right, one thing that you have to pay attention to is the positions. So the Supreme Grand Council, as the Prophet Noble Drew Ali instructs us in this article, it says, as mentioned in this article, the Supreme Grand Council will have power and the duty to control and supervise all affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And so in the Supreme Grand Council, there are positions. So in these positions, there's a confirmation hearing. Once you are appointed by the Grand Sheik and Chairman, not appointed by a Supreme Grand Sheik. It doesn't take a Supreme Grand Sheik. By default, Emeliel was the Supreme Grand Sheik. You know what I'm saying? But he was appointed by the Prophet. But the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America draws its power, or his or her power, from the divine constitution and bylaw. And to establish a Moorish Science Temple of America, you need a Grand Sheik and Chairman. That's the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, that Grand Sheik and Chairman can appoint positions, because that's how the movement works. Or the Grand Sheik and Chairman could say, in this regard, as Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, that he was the supreme grand head. And then the people got to confirm it. The same thing with the head. If he's we're putting this thing together, and this just philosophy right now, but I'm gonna show you facts in a minute. This is just my philosophy. So if I say I initiate myself or appoint myself to be the supreme grand sheik of our group, right? It will be up to the body to confirm it, just like a Senate hearing. You know what I'm saying? And they would say, no, we don't want that. So it's confirmation, as it says, as the prophet says in this thing right here. So this is just to get us started off. You see what I'm saying? If we need to start off, because the head is the grand sheik and chairman. And it says, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that they was accepted by you. That's the hearing. Now, once the supreme grand sheik and chairman is installed, it's accepted by the body, the grand body. You know what I'm saying? And I put right here is a hearing held by the grand body to gather information on whether to approve or reject appointments for high position, such as position on the Supreme Grand Council. Well, that would apply for the Supreme Grand Sheik also, because the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America is the Grand Sheik and Chairman. Now, when you go through that, you will find out that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the supreme head and supreme chairman. Emeliel was the supreme grand sheik. Lomax Bey was the supreme grand governor. Ross Bey was, let me make sure you see me so far. Ross Bey was the supreme grand, he was the supreme grand publicity director. Clark Green was the supreme business manager. Brother Blackwell Bey, he was oh, no. This one was wrong right there. What's the name? It was one brother that was a historian, supreme grand historian, and Sister Pearl Drew Ali was the secretary, right? Now, she was the secretary. So now, this is what I want. Brother H. Moore Bey, he was the supreme historian. This is a letterhead from the time of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is a letterhead about the office of the Supreme Grand Council, right? And now, how does it operate? So the Supreme Grand Sheik oversees the entire movement. But when we're talking about the entire movement, we're talking about he oversees all of the Grand Sheiks of the movement. Now, consequently, he was also the Grand Sheik and chairman. That's why you see chairman on certain documents, and Brasswell Bey try to filibuster and say, yeah, he's also the chairman. You feel what I'm saying? So and the daily functions of the Supreme Grand Council is to make sure that Grand Sheiks nationally are operating according to law, instituting and putting in place things to further the movement. You see what I'm saying? You follow me? Hold up and put this back up. Now, that's the Grand Sheik and chairman. So if it's 20 temples around the country, or if it's 100 temples around the country, the Supreme Grand Sheik makes sure that those Grand Sheiks are in line according to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Supreme Grand Governor, he does the same thing. He makes sure that the governors are in line according to the teaching of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, to introduce new things, to introduce laws. If people go out of law, you feel what I'm saying? And then you got the Supreme Grand Publicity Director, and that was Brother Ross Bey, and the Supreme Grand Secretary. He was like the FCC. He will make sure. I will talk about that in a minute, Jonathan Bey. He would make sure that the Moorish Science Temple of America is being represented properly into the public eye, as whether in print and in today in digital. And then you have the Supreme Grand Business Manager. This is Aaron Payne, who took the place of Claude Green, appointed by Emeliel. He will make sure that all of the businesses in association with all the temples are moving according to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So you ain't gonna be selling sex toys. You ain't gonna be selling weed. You ain't gonna be selling caps and vials as the Arabs do in our community. You ain't gonna do none of that. You ain't doing none of that. And the Supreme Grand Business Manager, he oversees all the businesses that's operated out of temples to make sure that they are operating according to law, according to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And then the Supreme Grand Secretary, she does the same thing. She oversees all the secretaries, make sure that they're functioning according to law. And that's how that works there. But now, and when operating in its full capacity, you feel what I'm saying? The Moorish Science Temple of America functions just like the United States government per se, because the Republican form of government is our form of governing ourselves, where the United States and other countries with European persuasion has used that to govern us, because they never govern themselves. You know, when they say that the more civilized Europeans, well, we put government in place. And so when you look at the grand body, you'll see that the grand body mirrors the legislative body of this Republican form of government. You know what I mean? You got Congress, you got the grand governors. You feel what I'm saying? You got the Senate, you got the governors. Just different names, but similar functions. You have the House of Representatives, and then you have all the grand sheiks. And then you have the executive office. You have the president, you have the grand sheik and chairman. And someone say, is he the CEO? Absolutely he is. The grand sheik and chairman is the CEO of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Absolutely. And then you have the vice president, what is the assistant grand sheik. You follow me? And then you have the cabinet. The national secretary, the national business manager, the national this, the national that, the national this, the national that. You follow me? And then you have the judicial part. That's the Supreme Grand Council. You have the Supreme Court, that those that interpret the laws for the grand body. And then you have other federal courts, according to the judicial laws. They also interpret laws for local temples throughout the year. This is why he said the Supreme Grand Council would be governing the operation of the movement and the businesses of the movement, because they interpreted laws for local temples. So if local temples are doing something that's not consistent with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, then they would inform the Supreme Grand Council and says, can we put this on the table? And they may call into session to address it. And that's where the lie of Brasswell Bay came up when he said they got alternates. No, they have sessions. They have sessions. And you can call in secession in order to appoint someone else. Or you can appoint somebody and that appointment can be confirmed down the line. And this is how you operate. Now, I'm just giving a brief 1 minute one over. I'm telling you, I've studied this for years. I've studied this for the last 5 years. I have a true working knowledge of how this works. And the only one that will be able to pull this off, if those who understand this working knowledge. So I teach this freely. I teach this in the temple. I'm teaching it to you now, but I can't go into deep functionality of it on here. I already been here 3 hours. You feel what I'm saying? I haven't even eaten today. You feel what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is, this is why the temple structure is so important, so people can know their roles. And if they are able to play their role or act in their role, you see what I'm saying? How are the laws enforced? Ah, man, brother, the laws are enforced by there's a what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali called taking people up on charges. That's a whole nother system, brother. And if you talk about the laws of the government enforced, that is done by the way of the function of the grand body, and I give it to Rami Salam El. He said, I'm thinking that the grand body and the Supreme Grand Council make up the supreme body. You're absolutely right, brother. The supreme body only comes together once a year, and that is on the conclave. The supreme body is when a convention is in session. That's the supreme body. When everybody is in session, that's the supreme body, and that can be proven too. You follow what I'm saying? But the supreme body only function during convention, or if a emergency session is called, and the supreme body must come together to enact laws. You know what I'm saying? But in order to enforce the Constitution, like Taj Tariq Bey said, that comes out of the administration of the Moorish body, of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Nobody runs on the internet and talk about I'm enforcing the Constitution. No, the body comes up with a roadmap in order to ensure that we have our rights untainted, just have our rights solid. That's done from an administrative perspective. Like, for instance, if don't nobody want to get the jab in our administration, then what I do is I make sure that they have an authorized letter from myself. You feel me? And they take that to wherever they need to go. If they have any problems, we address it from an administrative point of view. We don't address it on the internet. We don't address it on Moorish World TV. We address it from an administrative point of view. And because we are a legal and lawful organization, you know what I'm saying? We don't address it from an individual point of view. So if Zen Suna having a problem with a situation and he's a dues paying member and he's an officer, and you know what I'm saying, then it's up to the administration to represent Zen Suna along with himself and others. But he doesn't represent himself. We are a nation. So we move as one. And we move, you fight a corporation with a corporation. Normally when individuals fight corporations, it never ends well. But when corporations against corporations, that's when things get worked out in the favor of those who write. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what it is. I mean, listen, you don't have to join a temple. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you are a part of a nation or an organization, yeah, you have to. I mean, just like whether you like it or not in America, people say I'm not a citizen all day in America. But guess what? Break them laws. They're going to hold you accountable as they hold citizens and aliens and everybody else. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's a membership organization. And in order to benefit from that established organization, yeah, you have to be a member. But that don't mean benefit. We can benefit many ways. It was many people that rode with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But I'm saying if I was to represent you and I can't prove that you are a member, then I'm falsifying documents. So for instance, I give you a waiver for the demonstration. You know what I'm saying? And they find out that you're not really a member. That's not cool. That's not cool, because now I jeopardize every member in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Because many people have come to me, ask, do I give out waivers and all that? I'm like, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Because it just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? That'll be just like somebody going to the Amish community and saying, can I get a waiver to say I'm an Amish? They're like, man, you ain't part of our community. Man, I give you some food. Are you hungry? Come on, let's build a house together. But I can't put my signature on that if you're not in this body or in this government. Because the Moorish Science Temple of America is also a government, as I just showed. But family, I got to get out of here, family. I went longer than I could. If everybody in here subscribe, family, that'll be a beautiful thing. We will be back possibly next week with another powerful demonstration. Anybody that wants me to cover any information, please leave a comment in the comment section and I will cover it. But if y'all seen this from the beginning, press 1 if you think I debunked the video by Brasswell Bay. Press 2. Yes, I do collect money in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Absolutely. Are you the police? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. And I will continue to. Absolutely, I do. And what? Absolutely. And I write checks in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Absolutely. That's right. Let me show you the checkbook. So do what you got to do. And I've already made a video. I'm prepared to address this all the way up to the Supreme Court. My apology. My apology. Covered the embezzlement charges across the body. No problem. No problem. No problem. Somebody send me another email, family. Send me another email and send me another email. Send me another email and I try to get back with you this week. Give me a day or so. Give me a day or so. All right. On the next show, I show the checkbook in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna reveal a lot come this October. I'm gonna reveal a lot come this October on how we moving. You feel me? And again, we are willing to take this all the way to whoever and whatever entity want to take it, because we believe we standing on the truth. We have faith and confidence that we stand on the truth. Oh, we'll show the checkbook under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Got no problem with it. No one, listen, R. Jones Bay, that's a confusion too, Terrell Johnson. R. Jones Bay have corporate rights to the 501c3 called Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. There's a big difference, brother. There's a big difference, Terrell Johnson. Hit me up. I don't want to put too much out here too fast, though. Hit me up. Only if you're interested. You have corporate rights to the 501c3 called Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. That's the whole title. That's a fact. You're absolutely right. But that don't mean nothing. Listen, Terrell, there's different laws in I'll talk to you about that later. But I gotta go, family. I'm hungry. I gotta get out of here. Peace and love, family. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Gotta go.